Talksport comes to you live from Portman Road. It is rocking here. I think there's a big game on the cards. Ipswich looking for the result they need to get back to the Premier League. They're taking on QPR in this final game of the regular championship season. Oh my goodness, it is incredible, this atmosphere. Every single Ipswich fan has a flag, whether it's blue or white. So it is pretty much across the whole stadium we are seeing these flags waving as they are expecting the result they need to get back then to the big time. Former England striker Dean Ashton is alongside me, as is commentator Ian Danter as well. And we've already been through the team news a bit already. But something to pick up on is the fact that Jack Clarke does not start this game. He is on the bench. I always like to look on social media when the teams are announced just to see how the fans react. And most of them are saying, where is Jack Clarke? He's been so instrumental for them this season. He is their top scorer. Is he just a finisher these days?
I think that maybe that's what Kieran's thinking. I don't know whether he's thinking, if the game's not going our way, who better to bring on to try and change fortunes? Because that's what's happened at Southampton on Tuesday. Neither team were playing particularly well. Ipswich had gone ahead. Southampton suddenly find themselves 2-1 up. It's backs against the wall. Up steps Jack Clarke, gets the equaliser, and but for an incredible save from Daniel Peretz, could have won the game in the last knockings. So I can sort of see where he's coming from, Kieran McKenna, if that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, look, I think there's rationale behind it, but I think he'll hate it, Jack Clarke, and it'll hurt him because he's the top scorer and he's somebody that's delivered all season. And when you have an ego, as we all do, especially forward players, he'll think, well, I should be the one that should start. I'm the one that's going to win you the game and get us promoted, and maybe Philogene should be the finisher. But let's be honest, I just think having those options for the manager in such a big game. Mehmeti's another one, been so creative, goals and assists this season. He's another one that probably feels a little bit hard done by. You've got to try and forget that very quickly. You might have a big part to play when you do come on.
Well, the Ipswich subs are just making their way onto the bench, including then Jack Clarke. Just how impressive has he been, Dan?
Well, I remember Jack Clarke coming through as a youngster. I remember he got very poorly in a game up at Middlesbrough once, where he actually had a viral illness that kept him out of the game for a while. But he came back from that spectacularly, and he's such a clever player. He's genuinely two-footed. He doesn't hang about getting the ball into the danger areas for players running onto it. I think it's slightly disappointing that the supply line from left and right from Ipswich hasn't produced more goals for the likes of George Hurst and Ivan Azon, and that's why Clarke maybe has had to step up, Dean, and be a little bit more proactive looking for goals, because in terms of central areas it's not quite happening for Ipswich.
No, they've relied on the wide players, and he's been able to rotate them and keep them fresh. But, you know, again, I'm sure he'll be called upon. I don't see this being necessarily easy. The record QPR have got here, the tension, this looked beautiful, and it's ramped up. As soon as we kick off, it might just go silent because there's that tension. Exactly. And then as players, you've got to try and get down to your job and deliver today.
I mean, we shouldn't talk about anxious. Our producer, Izzy, she's an Ipswich fan. She's been very cool and calm, but it might be now when it really ramps up. The pyrotechnics are going off. The flags are waving as well. It really is a sea of blue and white. And the teams are making their way out as well. They've had it in their own hands for quite a while, have Ipswich. They might have wanted to have got the job done earlier on, but as it is, it's still very much in their hands, and they can see themselves back in the big time if they get the result that they need against QPR this afternoon. Don't forget, later today, Leagues 1 and 2 come to an end with the ups and downs still to be decided. At 3 o'clock on Talksport 2, you can tune into Exeter's fight for survival in League 1, taking on a Bradford side who are looking to secure a playoff spot. Before that, though, two sides hoping to earn promotion face each other in the Championship. That at the Racecourse ground as Wrexham take on Middlesbrough. That one kicking off shortly on Talksport 2. We'll keep you updated on that, as we will with all the Championship games. You can expect chaos, expect nerves, expect drama. And for Ipswich, a win over QPR seals their return to the Premier League. 90 minutes. But of course, Millwall and Middlesbrough are waiting in the wings for any potential slip-ups. Wrexham are in pole position to secure 6th in that final playoff spot. The Hull are only outside on goal difference. If they can better what Wrexham do, they may well finish in the playoffs. And Derby, well, they're just a point off it as well. So lots still to play for at the top end of the table. As I said, the teams making their way out. It's been an absolutely rocking and cracking atmosphere here at Portman Road. Can the players now deliver what the fans have done building up to this game? Let's hand you over to your commentary team for this one then. The former West Ham striker Dean Ashton is alongside Ian Danter.
Thank you, Natalie, and a very good afternoon to you, wherever and however you're tuned to Talksport for all the final day drama. Leagues 1 and 2 have their climax from 3 o'clock across our network, but Championship gets first dibs. Do you know, it's almost 2 years to the day that Dean, myself and producer Izzy were here as Ipswich Town sealed promotion back to the Premier League for the first time in a generation by doing what they had to do and beating Huddersfield Town 2-0. Today, destiny once again in their own hands in exactly the same kind of situation, but QPR are the side here trying to spoil the party. As with 2024, it's Kieran McKenna at the helm of the Suffolk club, but only Leif Davis, Wes Burns and George Hurst remain from the squad that got the job done here against the Terriers. They got a crucial late point at Southampton on Tuesday, live on Talksport through substitute Jack Clarke's 16th goal of the season. But Clarke is not in the starting lineup, he remains on the bench. Jack Taylor and George Hurst brought in by McKenna for Neil and Azon. So Walton in goal, Furlong, O'Shea, Greaves and Davis at the back for Ipswich. Matasiwa and Taylor holding, Burns, Nunez and Philogene behind Hurst in attack. QPR somehow lost their 3rd straight game against Derby a week ago, and I saw that match at Loftus Road where they dominated possession and chances. Julian Stefan has made 3 changes to his side for this one. No Richard Kone, their top striker, he's out injured. Ilias Chair returns, Nicholas Madsen and Joe Walsh is in goal. So Walsh as keeper, in front of him are 4 of Mbenge, Edwards, Clarke, Salter and Norrington Davis. Madsen, Morgan, Varane and Chair across midfield from right to left. Benny and Vale in attack. Gavin Ward of Surrey is the referee today. So here we go. Settle back if you're a neutral, or perch on the edge of your seat if your team is involved in this final day drama. We will start here at Ipswich Town, but we will go where the story goes on Talksport. And on the final day in the EFL, the story can change in an instant. Will it be instant promotion back to the Premier League for Ipswich here, making it 3 promotions in 4 years for Kieran McKenna's side? Millwall and Middlesbrough lie in wait for any slip-ups. There's always drama, always a surprise, always tears of joy and despair. And as we get underway here at Portman Road, we are right on top of everything for you this Saturday lunchtime in the Championship. Ipswich will be attacking the Sir Alf Ramsey stand to our right in this first half. Another Knight of the Realm, Sir Bobby Robson, he has the stand to our left named after him. We're sat in the main stand here with a brilliant view from the halfway line. QPR fans in the Cobbold stand opposite our commentary position. QPR in their change strip today of pink and black halves, Ipswich in the blue and white. And the ball's with Jake Clarke. Salter will let the ball run back to Joel Walsh, who's not had too many regular appearances for QPR in goal this season. Had to make way for Paul Nardi last week against Derby. He kicks long downfield. O'Shea will let it bounce and will let it run all the way through to Christian Walton, bedecked in all lime green this afternoon. Breaking news coming to us, by the way, that Sheffield Wednesday, with their takeover ratified by the EFL, will not now be deducted 15 points from the start of next season. Here come Ipswich for the first time this afternoon, and they're away left-hand side of the area, and a great save from Walsh. Big chance for Leif Davis, who strode forward. Ipswich have a corner, but that could have been 1-0 in an instant.
Oh, it's such a magnificent chance to settle the nerves around this stadium. Leif Davis played through 1v1 with Walsh. He goes really early, just tried to pass it round the outside of Walsh with his left foot. Brilliant right leg stretched out by the QPR goalkeeper to make a massive save so early on.
Minute and a half gone. Corner kick to be taken by Marcelino Nunez from the Ipswich left. Right-footed in-swinger, right under the crossbar. Walsh leaves it, and Jacob Greaves was attacking it, but couldn't get the connection, and it dribbles behind for a QPR goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, the amount of Ipswich supporters I saw coming in towards the game, talking about that kind of nervousness and how an early goal would make all the difference for a side that at times have struggled. Certainly here, that would have been huge for them. And Davis, that's such a big chance with his ability with that left foot. I think he needs to do a little better, even though it was a terrific reaction save.
0-0 here. Bristol City are already a goal up on Stoke in what will be Roy Hodgson's final game in charge of the Robins. Delana Bergsorg making it Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0. Ipswich trying to win the ball back inside the QPR half. Kieran Morgan slides in, but Hurst now has it for Ipswich. Works it out to Philogene, left-hand corner of the area. Faced up by Mbenge. Taylor plays it into Davis on the overlap. Across the face, he got it in! George Hurst right in front. What a start for Ipswich! They hit the front inside 5 minutes. They threatened early with Lee Davis's shot, saved by the keeper, but Davis involved again across the face of goal. QPR could not clear their lines, and George Hurst justifies his selection by tapping it home from a yard out. Premier League awaits. Ipswich 1, QPR 0.
Nerves are settled. They've got that early goal. What an electric start by Ipswich. They've used that atmosphere to make such a great start. Brilliant football, by the way. So good from Philogene. He can see that Davis is making that overlap, but rather than use him early, he just pops it into midfield. Then Davis can make that run, that third man run. It's played in brilliantly by Taylor, keeps himself onside, and then he does the right thing. He just flashes it across, just in behind the QPR defence. There's a real mix-up in there. Clark Salter and Walsh, and who's there to poke home? Hurst it is. Big goal.
Well, he hadn't scored in 5, George Hurst, and we were talking about the lack of goals from central strikers early on in our coverage, but job done for George Hurst, nice and early. Let's get to the racecourse ground. What's going on there? Matt Jones.
Well, there's been a response immediately from Middlesbrough, because it's Wrexham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Tommy Conway converting a cross from the right-hand side. He slid in and managed to bundle it home. So Middlesbrough ahead, Wrexham 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Philogene, left-hand side of the air for Ipswich. Curls it goal, it's pushed away by Walsh. Comes back out to Darnell Furlong as Ipswich go hunting a second goal. Ipswich on to 84 points as this thing stand. Middlesbrough on to 82 with that lead they've got at Wrexham. Nunez swings in across from the right wing, but it's blocked away by the QPR midfield, and Chair wins a throw on this near side. Let's get to Pride Park Derby against Sheffield United. Alan Biggs.
Derby County 1, Sheffield United 0. An absolutely rampant start from Derby. Could have scored 3 or 4 already. Sammy Smodics finally has found the net right on the line, converting a deflected shot from the edge of the area. Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
So that puts Derby into the playoffs on 72 points above Hull and Wrexham. You've just heard Wrexham are behind. Hull are drawing. We'll get off to the MKM in a minute. But here come Ipswich again, just over the halfway line. Already a goal to the good here, and Premier League bound against Queen's Park Rangers. Philogene works it back for Jack Taylor. Midway point of the QPR half in bright, beautiful sunshine here in East Anglia. That's worked across by Dara O'Shea to Furlong. Burns, the Welshman, waits on the right wing, plays a one-shot with Nunez, gets in behind, crosses to the far post. Philogene brings it down, smacks it goal. What a block from Mbenge. That was on its way in, but for QPR's right back, Nunez with the ball back into the box. Walsh gives his central defender a shout and can pick up the loose ball. Big chance for Ipswich to take a 2-0 lead here, Dean Ashton.
Look, of course there would have been nerves beforehand for the players, but what you have to do is, against a team that have got nothing to play for, really test them. Really test how much they want it compared to you. Well, Ipswich's start has been so good, so intense. They just haven't been able to cope, QPR. But I tell you what, the football as well.
Yeah.
In such an intense, nervous situation has been terrific. Lovely football again to get Burns down the right, cuts it back to Philogene. Lovely first touch, taking it out the sky, does everything right. Brilliant strike, keeps it down, but Mbenge is there to block.
1-0 to Ipswich. Tell you what, let's check in at the MKM, because we've heard Derby have gone ahead. Well, we'll go to them in a minute, because Jaden Philogene's just turned Mbenge on halfway. Goes down under pressure from Mbenge, but no foul, says Gavin Ward. So QPR have it back. As it stands then, Ipswich second, 84. Middlesbrough 82 points. We're finished in the first of the playoff places. Millwall in fourth, Southampton fifth, Derby County in sixth. Hull and Wrexham would miss out as things stand. On halfway, and Mbenge for QPR tucks it into Jonathan Varane, but he passes straight out of play. Let's get to Millwall, shall we? Check in with Ollie Klink.
It's Millwall 0, Oxford 0. 8 minutes gone. Atmosphere slightly subdued since that opener for Ipswich. Millwall have started really well, though. Tierno Ballo has just headed one over from close range inside the box. Femi Aziz has looked dangerous. Good start from Millwall, but still goalless here. 8 minutes gone. Millwall 0, Oxford 0.
And 1-0 to Ipswich here. Let's check in at the MKM. See how Hull have responded to the scores around them. John Dunn.
6.5 minutes gone. Hull 0, Norwich 0. Fiery start, great atmosphere. Hull players flying into challenges. Loud roar when they heard the news of the Middlesbrough goal. Slightly subdued when they heard that Derby had leapfrogged them into that final playoff place. No chances of note as yet, but it's a fantastic atmosphere. It's Hull 0, Norwich 0.
Been a great atmosphere here too at Portman Road. It was a right racket before kick-off, and the team have matched that intensity for their supporters. 8 minutes gone on Talksport. On the final day of the Championship, Ipswich already a goal to the good through George Hurst from a yard out after great build-up play down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you. Portsmouth lead Birmingham City by a goal to nil at Fratton Park. Here's George Hurst at the edge of the area, slips in Philogene, tries to turn Mbenge and pokes it home. It's 2-0. Ipswich are running riot. And Jaden Philogene, having been denied just a moment ago, had the coolness to roll the ball past the defender and then roll the ball into the bottom corner. Promotion surely incoming for the third time in 4 seasons for Kieran McKenna and Ipswich Town. Joy unconfined around Portman Road. It's 2-0.
Big pressure, big players. They normally step forward. Jaden Philogene is that type of player. So cool and calm when he got into the area. The football was outstanding again from Ipswich. Bopped into Nunes, set for Burns, fizzed into Hurst. He found Philogene, and then instead of rushing it, just takes a touch, finds the gap, and just trickles it past Joe Walsh into the corner. It's just been an absolutely outstanding start from Ipswich.
2-0 already, 9 minutes played on Talksport. Boy oh boy, have they attacked this game exactly the way that all Ipswich fans, when their heads hit their pillows last night, this is what I want them to do, and they have done it. And QPR are being left in the dust at the moment. Little touch gets Matasuima away, running through midfield, and Mbenge comes across from right back and steers it back towards. They all want to get in on the act now. Ball's cleared downfield, and Jacob Greaves with a very strong header. It'll drop for George Hurst in the centre of the QPR half. Varane wrestling with him. It's back for Jack Taylor. Taylor will steer it out to Leif Davis on the left wing. Philogene works it back to Jack Taylor. Greaves just past halfway, picks it up now. Ipswich 2, QPR 0. And Manchester United's women are behind to Brighton in the WSL. Jelena Kankovic puts them 1-0 up Brighton. It was Adrian Segicic that scored Portsmouth's goal against Birmingham down at Fratton Park. Here's Wes Burns for Ipswich Town, level with the 18-yard line, down the right-hand side for Ipswich, but the ball's worked back now to Dara O'Shea. O'Shea just clips it up to the edge of the area. Nunez neatly brings it down, but that allowed Clark Salter to get a foot in. Ilias Chair working back towards his own 18-yard line. Burns tries to swing across in, comes off the back of Rhys Norrington-Davis, and then Varane will bring it clear and set Harvey Vale away. Their free transfer from Chelsea. Now Daniel Benny, the Australian, trying to cut inside from the far right-hand side. First time we've really seen QPR come forward, Dean Ashton.
Well, they haven't been allowed to. That's why the energy levels that Ipswich are showing can't be matched by QPR. We've had to sit in and defend. Haven't been able to keep them out. like you said, just maybe the first time Ipswich have just sat in to have a breather.
Chair finds Benny now at the edge of the area. Shot comes in from the edge of the box from Nicholas Madsen, but it was dealt with comfortably enough by Walton, diving away to his right-hand side. Southampton have scored at Preston. Their fate, of course, is sealed. They are a playoff side and cannot affect automatic promotion. Taylor Harwood-Bellis has given them the lead, so Southampton solidifying 5th place on 78 points. Remember, the 4 in the playoffs at the moment are Middlesbrough, Millwall, Southampton and Derby in that order. Ipswich going up automatically and coming forward again with Wes Burns. The cross from the right trickled into the area rather. He was trying to feed it into the path of either Hurst or Philogene, the 2 goal scorers, but didn't find either. Instead he found Joe Walsh. 2-0 Ipswich, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, Nunez has been excellent. He's been so good in that 10 position, just being able to be played into his feet. His touch has been excellent, his awareness to feed it around the corner. This time it was for Burns, who tried the early cross to Philogene and just underhit it. But I've got to say, the football has been absolutely top level. Their touch, the movement, the passing, exactly what the manager will have wanted.
Philogene trying to get in behind Mbenge as Ipswich clipped the ball over the top down the left-hand side, but it was headed out of play by QPR for a throw. Ipswich Town 2-0 if you're just tuning into Talksport. 13 minutes gone. You're listening to EFL Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. It's 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary. So Middlesbrough 1-0 up at Wrexham in the Talksport 2 commentary. Hull 0-0 at home to Norwich. Derby 1-0 up against Sheffield United, and that means Derby are in the final playoff spot at the moment. Southampton lead at Preston. Millwall 0-0 at the moment in their game at the Den, and Middlesbrough, as I mentioned earlier, 1-0 up at Wrexham. So Middlesbrough are 3rd, Millwall 4th. So the playoffs, as it stands, would be, and there's a long way to go, would be Middlesbrough against Derby and Millwall against Southampton. That may and probably will change before the 90 minutes are out. On the final day of the Championship, QPR just haven't been allowed to settle, probably more accurately, and Ipswich tigerishly winning back possession, and they have it again on halfway. They are not giving QPR an inch, Dean.
No, I mean, it's the confidence it's given them. I saw Ipswich only a couple of weeks ago really struggle here against Middlesbrough to create or have that energy or confidence. Well, they've had all of that at the start of the game. It does help when you get that early goal, but still every player is fed off that. They're not allowing QPR to settle at all, and if anything, you'd be thinking as an Ipswich player, can we now go and get that 3rd and really kind of settle things right down?
Well, they won 4-1 at Loftus Road back in November, did Ipswich, as they actually moved into the top 10 of the Championship that day after what had been a pretty sluggish start, you might remember, for Ipswich Town following relegation. Not as sluggish as Leicester's or indeed Southampton before the run they went on, but nevertheless here they are. And what Middlesbrough must feel, having spent 3/4 of the season, Dean, in an automatic spot. They do lead at Wrexham, but ultimately it's not going to be enough today, and they're going to have to recompose and recalibrate, ready for a playoff campaign.
Yeah, they are going to have to. I mean, I thought it was always going to be a great ball. It's just too
Benny was on the charge through the middle for QPR, but out came Christian Walton and a lovely cushion headed down for Leif Davis at left back.
Yes, it was. But just going back to Middlesbrough, and I thought it would have been an overachievement to have got promotion automatically, especially with a couple of injuries. Hackney and Whittaker, they're 2 standout stars. They need them fit every game, really.
I was told Hackney might be back for the playoffs if that indeed was what was to be Middlesbrough's destiny. Remember, all the playoff ties, all 12 semi-finals and all 3 Wembley finals live on Talksport this month, starting next Friday in the Championship. Philogene's gone down hurt on the left-hand side of Ipswich's midfield. He's slowly picking himself back up. Meantime, Cher is in possession. Has stayed down. I think he tried to get up and then realised he was in a worse state than he thought, and Gavin Ward has led to a pause in play. So whilst Jayden Philogene's getting treatment, let's get off to Ollie Klink at the Den and check in on Millwall's progress. Ollie.
17 minutes gone, Millwall 0, Oxford 0. Millwall still on top here. Tierno Ballo's headed across from Zach Sturge, wide of the right-hand post. A scare at the other end. Oxford's first attack. Will Lancashire fired over after a lovely ball in from the right. But Tony Cascarino alongside me. The atmosphere subdued slightly since Ipswich have taken that 2-goal lead.
Yeah, absolutely, Ollie. Not to be to be expected, because, you know, everyone gets information so quickly these days, don't they? And you know, we've gone into 17 minutes down in the game, and they're 2-0 up Ipswich.
Here's an attack from Millwall. Tierno Ballo on the left-hand side, looking for the opener here, Millwall, and that will trickle behind for a corner. Still goalless here, Ian Dante. It's 18 minutes gone, Millwall 0, Oxford United 0.
Thank you very much, Ollie. So Coventry up as champions. They're currently 0-0 at Watford today. Ipswich will go up with them automatically. 84 points with this 2-0 scoreline they have against QPR. Middlesbrough will have to settle for third, Millwall fourth, Southampton fifth, and Derby County sixth. Speaking of Derby, let's check in at Pride Park with Alan Biggs.
Yeah, still Derby 1, Sheffield United 0. That blistering start rewarded by Sam Schmoddick's goal in the 5th minute at Pride Park. Since when Sheffield United have come to the game, they've resisted that Derby surge, and Gus Harmer's 20-yard free kick required a save low to his right by Zetterstrom in the Derby goal. It's Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
Back to restart here at Portman Road with Ipswich 2 up. Let's quickly check in at the MKM with Talksport's John Dunn.
Hull 0, Norwich 0. Hull full of energy, full of commitment, but the nerves are certainly playing a part. They're passing not as accurate as they need. Norwich playing with freedom, starting to create. Kellen Fisher, 21-year-old left back, never scored. Right-footed effort left of the D. So Ivor Pandor in the Hull goal pull off a really smart save down low to his right side. 17 gone. Hull 0, Norwich 0.
So with Derby winning, Hull drawing and Wrexham losing, that's the order they're going to finish, 6th, 7th, 8th. Derby in the final playoff spot on 72 points, Hull 71. So a Hull goal at the MKM changes things again, and Wrexham a goal down at Middlesbrough. Philogene is back on for Ipswich Town. We're back to 11 against 11, 18 minutes gone. Ipswich 2, QPR 0. And I think just now, Dean Ashton, I think there's a few collective sighs of relief around us as people actually contemplate what Ipswich have done in this first quarter of an hour, and that they might be able to breathe a little easier.
Yeah, it was always going to settle at some point, and not just on the pitch, as you said, off the pitch as well. And look, it's at 2-0, no way can you rest, certainly not in this division. I think it's important they keep that focus and actually think about getting the third, because then you really can relax slightly.
Nicholas Madsen now needs some treatment for QPR. Gives me a chance to remind you that Adrian Durham will be here from around about 2:45 on Talksport. He's going to be based at Crewe today, who face Cambridge, who are trying to hold off Salford City for one of the automatic promotion spots in League 2. So it'll be around the grounds, not just in the Premier League today. West Ham at Brentford, that's a big old game at 3 o'clock. It comes to something when we persuaded Natalie Sawyer to come away from Brentford to do a bit of work on a Saturday. That is a big game in the Premier League, but League 1 and League 2 finish in the 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. Bolton guaranteed the playoffs. Stockport need a point at Barnsley to get in themselves. Bradford, Stevenage and Luton could all overtake Stockport though. Plymouth could nab 6th off Stevenage in League 1. And at the bottom, our live Talksport 2 commentary at 3 o'clock. Exeter must beat Bradford, coupled with Leyton Orient failing to win against Burton. Portsmouth 1, Birmingham City 1. August Priska gets his first goal for Birmingham since signing from Djurgårdens Gardens in January. And the champions lead at Watford. Ellis Sims makes it Watford 0, Coventry City 1. You're up to date on Talksport on the final day of the championship, where Ipswich are going up, where Derby are sneaking into the playoffs. Hull and Wrexham look set for another season in the championship. Middlesbrough look to be finishing top of those in the playoff group, and therefore it would be Middlesbrough against Derby and Millwall against Southampton in the playoff semi-finals. A reminder, in League 2 today, Madsen still receiving treatment. MK Dons and Bromley can both win the title. Cambridge can be caught by Salford and Notts County for an automatic promotion spot. That's why Adrian's at Crewe against Cambridge. Grimsby are in the playoffs. Chesterfield play Swindon in a winner-takes-all match at the county ground for 6th place. Imagine being at that game Although I don't think Ian Holloway's on the touchline today. Paul Cook certainly is. But Ian Holloway having to be in the stands. Barrow almost certain to be relegated. Newport, Crawley, Harrogate and Tranmere trying to beat the drop with them. Back underway here on Talksport at Portman Road as we approach the midway point of the first half, but there'll be a few minutes to add on for stoppages at the end of the first half. Ipswich 2, QPR 0. Goals from Hurst and Philogene. Here come QPR though, with Benny trying to scheme his way down the left-hand side of the box, but caught Darnell Furlong with a little nibble of the heels, and that's a free kick to Ipswich just to the right of their own penalty area. 2-0 Ipswich, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, Elias Chair, he's the one that's shown just that little bit of quality for QPR, playing on this left-hand side. He's combined nicely a couple of times now with Benny, so he's certainly one that Ipswich will just have to be careful of.
Dara O'Shea just in front of his own 18-yard line, squares it to his right for Darnell Furlong. Back in field again for O'Shea. Not much of a press from QPR, and O'Shea's allowed to float it all the way out to the left-hand side, where Leif Davis did brilliantly to keep it in play, but in fact I thought he kept it in play, but the assistant on the far side looking along the line says otherwise. Throw into Queen's Park Rangers. Another season beckons in the Championship for QPR. I think it's something like their 11th straight season in the Championship after relegation from the Premier League in 2015. Their best finish was 9th under Mark Warburton in the 2020-21 season. Mid-table finish set to happen this year. They look for Philogene to Ipswich down the left-hand side, but between Edwards and Bengay, they tidy up for QPR. Chair inside his own half, wriggles away from Matasiwa, looks for an option, has to go back to Ronnie Edwards, who came through the Peterborough United Academy. That's a square ball across for Clark Salter. No Steve Cook in the back line for QPR. He's already played his last game for the club. They made it quite clear that he was not going to be required for the last few games of the season. He's going to be looking elsewhere to play his football next season. Ipswich playing their football next season in the Premier League as things stands. 2-0 to the good. I can't even say that because Izzy, the producer, looks at me as if I'm bocking them by saying that. Honestly, you can't say a thing, can you, these days?
No, she bit this morning when I just mentioned about this home record to QPR. That was wiped in the first 10 minutes from this Ipswich start. And look, QPR, it's almost as if they've suddenly thought we're actually part of the act. We're not just a support to this promotion party. They've realised they're actually footballers, and they're getting hold of the ball and starting to actually play with a bit of confidence in the game. I think even they were sort of surprised at just the energy and I think they were overwhelmed. They were. The intensity of this Ipswich side.
That's former England, West Ham, Norwich striker Dean Ashton behind enemy lines today inside Portman Road. You did all right on the train coming in though, didn't you?
Well, they love me here, don't they? They keep getting promoted.
Very true. QPR throw right hand side.
If Brian, who's always outside this stadium, is listening, I can't wait for his gentle abuse as I leave.
Lovely. It's nice to know it still happens. Mbenga with a throw for QPR. Vale having to track back towards the halfway line to keep possession. So, a reminder of the positions in the table. Ipswich promoted on 84 points. Middlesbrough in third on 82. I'll break off for a minute because here come Ipswich again down the right-hand side with Wes Burns. Norrington Davis gets goal side and closes down the space. Burns has got Furlong down the touchline, but he rolls it back further infield to Dara O'Shea. Back out to Wes Burns. Little touch from Jack Taylor to get Furlong back into the game. And now O'Shea plays it to the left-sided centre-half Jacob Greaves. Philogene, who seems to have run off that injury he picked up 5 minutes or so ago. What a noise inside Portman Road. They are singing their hearts out for their team. Full of joy. Burns, right-hand side, thinks about an early cross. Level with the 18-yard line. Rolls it back for Furlong. They're being patient here with this build-up. Ipswich Town, they've got plenty in the box. 4 blue shirts waiting for a cross. But it won't come yet. Furlong sees Matasiwa making a run down the right-hand side of the box, but the pass is overhit and goes behind for a goal kick. Let's check in at Pride Park. See how Derby are doing with that 1-goal lead they had last time we heard from Talksport's Alan Biggs.
Well, they're constantly threatening to add to it, Dance. It remains Derby 1, Sheffield United 0, but all the play is around the visitors' area, even as I speak. Only a matter of time, I would have thought, before Derby strengthen their hold on what is, at the moment, a playoff place. Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
Taylor is checking at the race course as well, because Wrexham went behind early on. The latest comes from Talksport's Matt Jones.
Yeah, 27 minutes gone, still Wrexham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Although, to be honest, Wrexham have had the better of the chances, or more of the chances than Middlesbrough. Bryn has made 2 fairly comfortable saves from Rathbone and 1 from Windass as well. Wrexham are just lining up a free kick, which is a few seconds away from being taken, but they are playing all right here. They just need to get around the box a little bit more. Wrexham 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Goal at the MKM Stadium. Talksport's John Dunn.
Hull 0, Norwich 1. Mohamed Toure has scored his 10th of the season. It has been coming. Norwich have been dominating, playing with freedom. Jacob Wright hooking the ball over the top of the Hull defence. It was a right-footed volley by Toure into the back of the net. 10 goals in 12 games for Norwich. This isn't what Hull wanted. They've been fully committed, but they're lacking any kind of quality. 6 without a win coming into this one. This could end their playoff hopes. 26 gone. Hull 0, Norwich 1.
2-0 here to Ipswich on Talksport. Goal back at Wrexham, Matt Jones.
And I said Wrexham were lining up a free kick. They've only gone and scored it. Wrexham 1, Middlesbrough 1. It's an absolute wonder goal from Josh Windass, who's been in blistering form of late. He's now got 7 in his last 8 games, curling into the top corner from about 28 yards out. Bryn couldn't get anywhere near it, and with that Hull goal, that obviously changes the complexion of the playoff race. It's Wrexham 1, Middlesbrough 1.
71 points for Wrexham, 1 behind Derby on 72. Hull trailing now down to 70 points, but Derby still clinging on to that playoff berth. They're a point clear of Wrexham, so now a Wrexham goal would change everything in the top 6. Ipswich 2-0 up here. Millwall having to settle for what is now 3rd place, because of course the other upshot of that Wrexham goal is that drops Middlesbrough not down to 4th but down to 5th. So it would be Millwall against Derby for one playoff, Southampton against Middlesbrough for the other, as things stand. Dean Ashton, sharp intake of breath from my colleague to my right.
Well, just how sort of quickly that has changed, and Middlesbrough's sort of dropped just with the 1 goal.
Penalty at the MKM, back to John Dunn.
Hull 0, Norwich 1. Hull have a penalty potentially. An immediate reply after going behind to Mohamed Toure's goal. It was a foul on Bellumi, right hand side of the area. Ollie McBurney, 16 goals this season, has placed the ball on the spot 12 yards from goal, and he will step up right footed and rolls it down the centre of the goal. An immediate response for Hull. They're still outside the playoffs, but they are back in this game. Hull 1, Norwich 1.
Goodness me, so Hull back to 71 points, same as Wrexham, but a slightly inferior goal difference. Derby stick around in 6th on 72 points. And just an example of how much of a gut wrench the final day can be in the EFL, where things can change in just a matter of seconds. But it's still Derby County with the whip hand for that final playoff place ahead of Wrexham and Hull City. Ipswich most definitely in control of their own destiny, as they were coming into this game. They're 2-0 up on half an hour here against QPR. Greaves trying to roll it into the area, actually hit his own player Matasiwa and ricocheted away from danger from the QPR point of view. Back it goes to Dara O'Shea. O'Shea in the centre circle, squares left for Jacob Greaves.
Yeah, just total composure now and control for Ipswich. No genuine sort of attempt for the third, if it happens at the moment, of course, but the intensity's gone and it's now possession based.
Philogene, left hand corner of the area, clips the ball deep to the far post. Hurst knocks it down. Ninias trying to hook it goalwards, and then Furlong coming in, trying to stab it goalwards, but got right underneath it and over the crossbar. But good approach play from Ipswich, almost brought them a third. 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, lovely clip ball to the back post from Philogene. Hurst does really well to battle and just head that back across. Nunez thinks he's going to volley in. Great bit of defensive work in there from Edwards. And then as it fell towards Furlong, it's actually a clearance that then hits his shin and fires up and over the crossbar.
If you're just tuning into Talksport on the final day of the Championship in the EFL, Ipswich Town 2-0 up on QPR here. Very early strikes from George Hurst and Jayden Philogene, which mean Ipswich will have won a third promotion in 4 seasons as things stand, and straight back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Millwall are currently goalless at home to Oxford. They're in third place because Middlesbrough are 1-1 against Wrexham, but that's not enough for Wrexham to claim a playoff place. Derby have that playoff place. They lead Sheffield United at the moment. Down the left-hand side come QPR, trying to get back into this game. Across on the left from Norrington Davis, easily cleared away by Taylor. And then Burns keeps the ball in play on this near side. Matasiwa squares it across to the left-hand side for Leif Davis. Philogene was just on the burst down the left-hand side. Receives it now, but he checked his run. Gives it back to Leif Davis. More live football tomorrow night from the Premier League. Aston Villa against Spurs. Where will they be after West Ham's game this afternoon and the other games involving the relegation candidates like Nottingham Forest? That's tomorrow from 7 o'clock, so it's a Sunday evening Premier League game. Reshmin Chowdhury there to host. Sam Matterface and Charlie Adam will be there at Villa Park for that game between Aston Villa and Tottenham. And then Monday night game night comes from Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton against title-chasing Manchester City. Adrian's going to be there with Sam and Steve Bruce, your commentary team, for that game for Monday night. And then we kick into the Champions League. We'll keep you in touch with Arsenal on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we've got the little matter of Bayern Munich against Paris Saint-Germain. Little Cruyff turn from Joe Walsh to keep the ball away from George Hurst. And don't forget, the playoffs in the EFL start on Friday evening on Talksport, exclusive. No one else brings you all 12 semi-finals and the 3 Wembley Showpiece finals before the end of the month. Wes Burns for Ipswich tries to cross the ball from deep into the area, but didn't wrap his foot around it anywhere near enough. 12 to half time on Talksport here in the Championship final day. Ipswich 2, QPR 0. Here's Dean Ashton.
Yeah, Wes Burns, almost forgotten what a terrific player he is. He's been missed for long chunks of the season for Ipswich. He's just come back in to make a difference when it really matters.
Is that a goal at the Den, Ollie Klink?
It is. It's Millwall 1, Oxford United 0. It's been coming, and it's Femi Aziz who has put Millwall in front on the counter-attack. Ivanovic picked it up in the centre of the park. He played it onto Aziz inside the box, and he has rifled the ball into the top right-hand corner, and that will have Millwall in third as it stands. 10 minutes to go until half-time. Millwall 1, Oxford 0.
Yeah, 83 points for Millwall, 1 behind Ipswich leading here. But forward come Queen's Park Rangers. Ilias Chair gets down to the byline on the left-hand side, attacking the Bobby Robson stand to our left. Feints to cross with his right, checks back onto his left, and then rolls the ball back to his left-back, Rhys Norrington Davis. Back to Chair it goes. And then infield to Nicholas Madsen. Bit of space, maybe to have a go for goal. He does go for goal, but it's a very comfortable save straight down Christian Walton's throat, and he made no mistake catching hold of that. Ipswich 2-0 up.
Yeah, 2 sighters he's had now, both been pretty tame. Walton's been able just to handle really cleanly, but Elias Chair, it's a striker's nightmare what he just produced there, which was a brilliant bit of skill to get himself free for the cross, and just decided not to take it as you've made your run into the penalty area, and ended up passing it back to Norrington Davis. Yes, of course, it was recycled to Madsen, who could have the strike, but it was a great chance to really whip that ball in for Chair.
So the promotion picture, Ipswich promoted as things stand, 2-0 up here. Millwall will be in third. They're leading, as you've just heard from Ollie, against Oxford. Southampton still leading at Preston by a goal to 0. They will finish fourth. Middlesbrough currently being held by Wrexham 1-1. They're fifth on 80 points. Derby have got themselves into the playoffs. Could it be a last gasp charge into the top 6 for the Rams? They lead Sheffield United by a goal to 0. Wrexham and Hull City beneath them, both drawing. That's what Derby County needed to get into the playoffs, and that is how things stand. We'll be off to those 3 clubs in the playoff chase in a moment, but here come Queen's Park Rangers trying to get into this game. Daniel Benny down the left-hand side, he runs into traffic. There were 4 Ipswich players around him. One of them was almost bound to snaffle possession back off him, and it was indeed won back very quickly by Ipswich Town, who lead 2-0 here with less than 10 minutes to half-time. Let's check it at Pride Park on Talksport. Derby in the box seat at the moment. Alan Biggs
Yes, and still, Derby County 1, Sheffield United 0, but there's as much noise and reaction from the sellout crowd here to events away from Pride Park as there is to events in here. They're fully aware of those other scorelines. Derby County, though, playing with great assurance at this stage. They're worth more than the one goal that they lead by, but they daren't leave it, so fine. Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
QPR win a free kick just shy of halfway. Let's check it at the racecourse ground on Talksport with Matt Jones.
It's still Wrexham 1, Middlesbrough 1 here. Middlesbrough, in fact, the side that have come closest to another goal since the Wrexham equaliser. A corner put into the box by Whittaker. There was a real scramble in the 6-yard box. Eventually, Ward pounced on the ball and the danger was averted. Full commentary on Talksport 2, Wrexham 1, Middlesbrough 1.
And Hull got a penalty swiftly after going behind. What's the latest at the MKM? John Dunn.
It remains Hull 1, Norwich 1. Hull have slightly improved since getting that route back into the game with that Matt Burnley penalty. Matt Crooks a moment ago with a header just wide from a Balumi free kick on the right side of the field. Norwich, though, coming forward as we speak. They have been the better team. Hull, no question in terms of their commitment, but need more quality if they are to get the goal that puts them back into the playoff race. It's Hull 1, Norwich 1.
Talksport, your home of the EFL on the final day of the Championship and League 1 and League 2. They get their campaigns finished at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Ipswich give possession up, and Bengay for QPR tries a pot shot from the right-hand corner of the area. It's clipped back infield. Morgan lays it off infield. Harvey Vale went for a drive, and the jeer of the Ipswich fans will tell you where that shot ended up. 2-0 Ipswich, goal kick.
Yeah, but I don't think they want QPR to have too many of those moments in and around the penalty area. Again, yes, 2-0. And suddenly a QPR goal just changes the feeling around Portman Road. And I've watched Kieran McKenna in particular quite a lot, almost rotating his hands as if to say, come on, we need that energy back again. We need that focus back again, because it's definitely gone flat.
In the National League South playoff, Charlie Baker's going to be insufferable. Torquay 2, Dorking 0 at the moment in that eliminator. Here's Ilias Chair winning the ball back for Queen's Park Rangers, 2-0 down and trying to get a footprint in the game. Madsen rolls it infield. Kieran Morgan can't find the space for a shot 25 yards out, so lays it backwards the square to Mbenge, and then Mbenge has to tuck it back to halfway. Sheffield Wednesday fresh from their takeover announcement and the breaking news we brought you earlier that they will not be deducted 15 points in League 1 at the start of next season. They're celebrating that news by leading West Bromwich Albion. They've only won one game all season. Nathaniel Chalobah has put them in front at Hillsborough, in front of what should be a buoyant crowd, knowing that takeovers have been agreed and there may be a fresh start in the Allerton district of Sheffield. 2-0 here to Ipswich Town, 6 minutes to half-time, but there'll be a fair old chunk of stoppage time at the end of this first half, I fancy. Here's Ilias Chair, bit of space just over the halfway line. Greaves intercepts, but the ball runs for Harvey Vale. Matasiwa steps across to try and win it, and then Chair again. Lovely little back flick for Nicholas Madsen. Chair wants it again. Morgan squares it for Jonathan Varane, the player from Martinique, just rolling his foot on the ball. Neat ball through to Morgan. Playing better now, Queen's Park Rangers, but can they find the cutting edge? Down the left-hand side of the area for Madsen. Tries to step inside Wes Burns. He's got options. Plays it back to the edge of the area. Varane takes a touch. Gets inside his man. The drive is blocked by Matasiwa. Comes out to Mbenge. Across the face of goal. Pinball. And it's Matasiwa again. But he only gets it half clear. Vale on the turn tries a shot. And it's deflected wide for a QPR corner. For the first time in the whole game, with 5 to half-time, nervousness at the back from Ipswich Town. 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, but also really good football from QPR to open up the space a couple of times for a shot. And you're right, it does feel edgy, that defensive work from Ipswich. Matasiwa just needed to clear properly, poked it straight to the edge of the area to allow more pressure.
That was a clearance like when you pressed your head on that play on the kids game and it stuck the boot out. We'll be off to the racecourse in a minute, but here's the QPR corner at the Bobby Robson stand end to be taken. Right-footed in-swinger by Chair, right into the crossbar, claimed by Walton. Who scored that goal at the racecourse then? Matt Jones.
The noise you can hear probably tells you it's Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 1. They've come from behind. Kabore does brilliantly down the right-hand flank. He then sends a skimming cross into the near post, and Smith just wants it more than the defender. He gets in front of him and scores with a bullet header that Bryn can't keep out. Wrexham have come from behind. They are now back in the playoff place as things stand. Full commentary on Talksport 2. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 1.
Indeed, they are 6 above Derby. They are a point ahead, 73 points to Derby 72. So there's nothing Derby can do if Wrexham maintain that scoreline. As you heard from Matt, that's live on Talksport 2 right now, that game, with Joe Shannon and Chris Owellamo. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you here at Portman Road. Natalie Sawyer is here too. You'll hear from her at half-time. Sheffield Wednesday are going to get a second win, it seems, right at the last game of the season, because they're now 2-0 up on West Bromwich Albion. Liam Palmer gets the second goal. One of the longest serving, if not the longest serving, Sheffield Wednesday player.
That would take them out of minus goal difference.
It will. Get a load of that on the final day. Back it goes
minus
to
points,
we are minus points, yeah. On to 0. That's almost fitting, isn't it? Jacob Greaves turns and chips it back to his keeper. It'll almost feel like a victory for Sheffield Wednesday fans. Look, we went down without a minus. I'll back him on that as well. Minus 59 goal difference, though, is, that needs a bit of work. But there'll be a tough nut to crack in League One next season. There's going to be a lot of positivity around Sheffield Wednesday in the summer. Marcelino Nunez has gone down. Another goal at the racecourse ground. Which way's this gone? Matt Jones.
It's Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2. The response immediate, coming within 2 minutes. This time it's a cross from the left that does it. David Strelick is the player who meets it not far away from the penalty spot, and he manages to stretch and convert it past Ward. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
So Derby should be back in the box seat courtesy of that. Let's get back to Pride Park, see what the reaction is. Do they know, Alan Biggs?
They certainly do. There was an instant reaction the moment that goal was relayed, that 2-2 in that game. Although there was an anxious moment here as Peck of Sheffield United has a shot deflected away for a corner, and Derby stay in control of this game and currently stay in 6th place. Close to half-time, Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
But we shouldn't forget, a Hull City goal would change everything in the top 6. Let's get back to the MKM. John Dunn.
Hull 1, Norwich 1. It is just as entertaining watching the crowd as it is the game. The groans around the stadium when the news of the Wrexham goal initially came in, and then it was like Hull had scored when the news of the Middlesbrough goal came in. In between that, Matt Crooks for Hull had a header, really close range, but it was straight at Kovacevic in the Norwich goal. Norwich, in fairness, continue to be the better team as we head towards half-time. Hull 1, Norwich 1.
So the playoff picture is this, as it stands. Millwall 3rd, Southampton 4th, Middlesbrough 5th, Derby County 6th. So the semi-finals at the moment would be Millwall against Derby and Southampton against Middlesbrough. Ipswich here at Portman Road into the last minute of normal time of the first half. 2-0 up and cruising against Queen's Park Rangers as Madsen missed controls for Rangers in midfield. Ball's rolled back to Walton. Passes out to Matasiwa. There's a press from QPR this time, but looks like Ipswich are going to play round it. And it's clipped forward by Furlong, taken neatly on the chest of George Hurst, and he's clattered into by Ronnie Edwards, and Gavin Ward gives that as a free kick to Ipswich Town as we edge towards half-time. So Coventry 2-0 up at Watford. Ellis Sims has just got his and Coventry second. Bet there'll be some fancy dress in the away end at Vicarage today. There's a bit of fancy dress in the away end at QPR today. I've seen about 10 bananas up in that top tier of the Cobbold stand. Ipswich 2-0 up, Millwall 1-0 up, Southampton 1-0 up, Middlesbrough drawing 2-2 at Wrexham, and Derby 1-0 up. So points being gained by all of the protagonists in Hollyoake. We're into 5 minutes of added time here, but ultimately in terms of automatic promotion, Millwall and Middlesbrough miss out, and in terms of the playoffs, Wrexham and Hull City will have to make do with another season in the Championship, as Derby will the team that makes it through to the end of season jamboree. But that could all change, it can, and it probably will, because it's the final day of the Championship, and it messes with your mind if you just relax for a moment on the final day of the Championship. This is Talksport. Adrian taking you around the grounds on the final day of League 1 and League 2 at 3. Here's Wes Burns for Ipswich Town down the right-hand side of the box, held up for a moment by Clark Salter. Plays a lovely neat ball back in field O'Shea in space, plays it across to his left for Greaves. Up to the edge of the area, Philogene with his back to goal, pressurised by Mbenge and by Varane. Still holds on to possession, does really well, Jaden Philogene. And in the end, the referee says, you're having too much of a go at him. Free kick, Ipswich Town, 2-0.
Yeah, he's got his goal, Philogene. He's had a real battle over that far side with Mbenge, who's physically got the edge on him, but lovely footwork there to eventually win his side the free kick.
Remember, Arsenal's women take on Lyon in the Champions League later. That kicks off at 2 o'clock. Adrian will keep you in touch with the closing stages of that game. Adrian's going to be at Gresty Road today for Crewe against Cambridge, which has huge ramifications for who gets automatic promotion from League 2 to join Bromley and MK Dons. They're scrapping it out for the title, those two. But Cambridge or Salford or Notts County will pick up the other automatic spot in League 2. Free kick to Ipswich in the second minute of 5 that have been added on at the end of the first half here. Leif Davis standing over the free kick. QPR holding their line level with a penalty spot. Out on the left-hand side, Davis raises his right arm. Plays it in low to the near post, and Furlong tried to improvise a flick, and Varane had to turn it behind for an Ipswich corner at the Alf Ramsey stand end to our right. 2-0 Ipswich lead.
Well, I wonder if that was meant by Davis. His delivery is usually so good, and Furlong did make that dart across the first man. His touch was poor. Now, half the QPR players have decided to be outside the box and really spread.
So Ipswich have had to cover all bases. So there's only 4 Ipswich players in the box for this corner that Nunez is about to strike. In he goes to the near post, claimed comfortably by Joe Walsh. Half times, Bristol City lead Stoke by a goal to nil. Southampton lead at Preston at the break by a goal to nil, and Blackburn Leicester, that's goalless at half time as well. Ball out for a throw. Coventry lead Watford 2-0 at half time. It's also half time at Pride Park. We'll check in with Alan Biggs shortly, but it is Derby in the playoffs because they lead Sheffield United 1-0 whilst Wrexham and Hull are both drawing their games. Those Wrexham and Hull games haven't reached half time yet. Wrexham Middlesbrough on Talksport 2 right now. That's been the Goalfest 2-2 in North Wales. Middlesbrough kind of probably knew that automatic promotion was going to be a bit of a stretch, but Wrexham have got work to do if they want to get in to another playoff campaign. Furlong into the box for Ipswich, just goes behind everybody. Philogene tried to pick it up, but there was a foul on the QPR player in the box, and so it ends up being a free kick. So Coventry City champions, and they're winning 2-0 at Watford. That's a half-time score. Ipswich 2-0 up as well here. They're going to go up automatically, 84 points. Millwall 83, Southampton 4th and Middlesbrough 5th, both on 80. Derby 72. Wrexham and Hull City would finish on 71 points as things stand. Free kick for QPR. What can they do about the situation? What's Julian Stephan going to say to his players at half-time? Will he make changes? He doesn't have Richard Kone in the side today, who would be a good fulcrum of attack for QPR. Chairs out there, though, scheming his way in the QPR midfield and darts toward the Ipswich penalty area. Held up by Hurst for a moment. We're into the last minute of the minimum 5 that have been added on at the end of this first half on Talksport. On the final day of the championship, in Mbenge, little flick from Chair. Tries to get Vale into the game. He tried to flick it wide for Varane. And Mbenge tries to pass it to the area. Brilliantly intercepted by Jack Taylor. And Taylor holds on to the ball despite the attentions of 2 or 3 QPR players around him. And eventually the ball's passed straight out of play. I think the free kick's been given for the challenge on Jack Taylor. That was great, tenacious work in the Ipswich Town midfield to preserve that 2-0 lead, Dean.
That's why he's in the side. That's why he's keeping Dan Neil out of the side, because of his performances. Like you say, that aggressive nature that he's got, but also he's been good on the ball too, alongside Matasiwa.
So a free kick for Ipswich. The 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time have been played. And there goes the whistle, and a very, very happy sunny disposition in sunny conditions here in Suffolk. For those Ipswich Town fans around me, loving what they saw, particularly in the first 10 minutes when Ipswich raced into a 2-goal lead. George Hurst couldn't miss from a yard out very early on. Philogene with some good skill inside the box rolled the ball home for 2 not long after. The tempo slackened a little bit But the Ipswich fans won't care about that one jot because they are 45 minutes away from a return to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Half-time score at Portman Road here on Talksport is Ipswich Town 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Nerves, what nerves, eh? We will review that first half in just a moment, but let's get to the half-time scores elsewhere and see how it finished up in the first half between Derby and Sheffield United. Alan Biggs.
It's Derby County 1, Sheffield United 0. All Derby can do is win this game, and they are very assuredly too, just lacking further goals to underline their dominance, which was applied right from the start. A fifth-minute goal that could well have been a second or third already. Such was Derby's dynamic beginning to this game. Sammy Schmodix following in a deflected cross shot from Jayden Bonnell. After that, Sheffield United edged back into the game. Gus Harmer had a 20-yard free kick, well saved by Zetterstrom, but Derby looking firm control of this at this stage. The second half, I think, will be as much about events elsewhere, to which the crowd here are reacting instantly and noisily. So halfway to a playoff spot nobody expected. Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, quite incredible, and that's a result that means Wrexham fall out of the top 7, taking on a Middlesbrough side that were fighting for the top 2. How was that half-time score, Matt Jones?
Well, it's been a real ding-dong opening 45 minutes here. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2 at the break. It was Middlesbrough who struck first, scoring after 4 minutes when Conway converted from a right-wing cross. But Wrexham equalised just before the half-hour mark. They had been the better team. They got the goal they deserved in spectacular fashion. Windass scoring with a glorious free kick. And then, very briefly, they put themselves back in that playoff place when they went ahead just before the break. Smith working really hard to get in front of his man and meet Kabore's cross and put that into the top corner with a great header. Middlesbrough, though, the response immediate. A left-wing cross this time. Strelick meeting it. He beat Ward from close range. So as things stand, Wrexham out of that playoff spot. It's Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
And what about the game between Hull and Norwich? John Dunn.
Hull 1, Norwich 1 at the break. Maybe some end of season playoff nerves are getting to Hull because they're fully committed but just lacking any kind of quality. Norwich play with the end of season freedom and they've been the better side in the first half. 12 minutes in when Kellen Fisher let fly from the edge of the area. That needed a good save from Ivor Panda in the Hull goal. Moments later, Panda quickly out of his goal line to stop Fisher having a one-on-one opportunity. 26 minutes in, Mohamed Toure gave the visitors the lead. It was a scoop ball from the edge of the area from Anis Ben Slimani that was volleyed home by Toure, who has scored 10 goals in 12 appearances since his February arrival from Randers. However, Hull responded really quickly. Bellumi in the box, right-hand side, was fouled by McConville, and McBurney stepped up 2 minutes since Norwich took the lead, sending the ball down the centre of the goal. 3 in his last 5. That's given Hull a route back into this game. Matt Crooks had a header that was straight at Kovacevic, the Norwich goalkeeper. Just as much entertainment off the field, watching the groans and then the cheers of the Hull supporters, but they know their team needs to improve in the second half. Hull 1, Norwich 1.
And finally, let's take you to the Den, where Millwall were hoping for results to go their way to finish second. They're taking on Oxford. Ollie Klink and Tony Cascarino.
Yeah, it's Millwall 1, Oxford 0 at half-time. Femi Aziz with his 10th goal of the season has Millwall in front here, but things not falling their way so far. He rifled one into the top right-hand corner from inside the box following a swift Millwall counter-attack 10 minutes before half-time. They've been camped in the Oxford half, Millwall, for most of the game. Ballo and Ivanovic have also come close. At the moment, they're securing third place, which would mean they play whoever comes sixth in the playoffs. But Tony Cascarino, even though Millwall are doing their side of the bargain, it feels as if the dream of automatic promotion could be fading thanks to those events at Portman Road.
Yeah, obviously very early on, Ollie, Millwall, well, fans could hear that the Ipswich had gone 1-0 up and then followed 2-0 quite quickly, and okay, it's half time, 2-0. Millwall put in I thought they've been decent today so far. I thought it was a great goal. Femi Aziz, done a step over from a good pass from Ivanovic, got it on his right foot and buried it. Really, really good goal. And look, all you can do is just continue and see how it pans out. But a decent performance, because the fans, and say not with them, it's just that they feel like it's not going to happen automatic today. So, hey, look, there's a lot more to play for, and we know what's coming after that is the playoffs.
Still a very good atmosphere here at the Den. Every Millwall fan will have their fingers crossed for an epic QPR comeback. You never know. Half-time at the Den. Millwall 1, Oxford 0.
Ollie, thank you very much. Let's just quickly look over that first half here at Portman Road, where it's so far so good for Ipswich. And Dean Ashton, the former England striker, is alongside me. And if you were ever going to calm the nerves, it was the way that Ipswich started this game. It was just a blistering start by them.
Yeah, of course. I think Kieran McKenna will have dreamt of that start, will have talked about that start. It's one thing talking about it, it's another thing being able to go out and execute as players. But I guess it's down to, I think, confidence is what I would say, and who's going to set the tempo. And I thought Jack Taylor did that. Honestly, his intensity at the start of the game to win the ball back so quickly and just trap QPR in. Every single player played their part. And then I think what really surprised me was the quality of their play, their attacking play. For such a nerve-wracking, tense game, to have the freedom to play the way they did and create those early chances. Credit to them for that.
It did feel as though Kieran McKenna probably just before the kick-off was probably saying, you know what you can do, you know the quality you possess, go out there and show them and get this game won early.
Yeah, absolutely. And also let's really test QPR. How much do they really want this game? They shouldn't want it as much as we do, and I think that's what we saw, was that genuine desire and adrenaline that Ipswich started with, and you really felt it after about 20 minutes. It just completely dropped.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like that they'd sort of come out of that and relaxed, and the supporters did. They've not really been troubled. There's been the odd little bit, but they haven't really been troubled. You would expect, with the talent that they've got to come off the bench as well, that they should go on and win this comfortably and really be able to enjoy the second half.
OK, we will look ahead to that second half and bring you second half commentary then. But they are 45 minutes away, Ipswich, with a return to the Premier League. That's on the way next here on Talksport.
This is where it begins. A new home for unexpected combinations. City and St George's, two of London's leading universities coming together. A place for theatre and science, business and healthcare, where you can explore the world of law, technology or medicine and see where it takes you. Together leads to more ideas, more perspectives and more possibilities. Introducing City St George's, University of London. Together, we're more.
Hello, I'm here with Jose Mourinho and Snickers for football's rapid fire on or off your game. Right, Jose, you've got one or two opinions on football, so I want you to tell me whether the following is on or off its game. First up, VAR.
Off the game.
Half and half scarves?
Off the game.
What about backflip celebrations?
Off.
Cutting holes in the back of your socks?
Off the game. What I hate, even the ones without calves, they do the holes. Snickers, you are off your game when you are hungry.
Dreaming of a getaway? With P&O Cruises, you can wake up to a new paradise every day. And with new all-inclusive packages now making a splash, why not go all in and get even more out of your next holiday?
P&O Cruises. Holiday like never before.
Limited availability on all-inclusive packages.
Didn't work. Lock. Didn't work. Everyone's seen me on the bog. Didn't work. Train toilet door. Didn't work.
We can fix that, but I bet an app is actually pretty good.
Bet £10. Get £30 in free bets with Midnight. Search Midnight Sports or download the Midnight app today. New customers only. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Play responsibly. GambleAware.org.
Hi, I'm Jamie Redknapp, and A League of Their Own is officially going on tour.
2-4-2-4. We're going to need backup.
You can see A League of Their Own live this autumn with me, Jamie Redknapp, Jill Scott, Tony Bellew and Tom Davis, Maisie Adam and Patrice Evra.
I love this game.
They're pretty iconic, to be fair.
And some very special guests.
Wow.
And we're only just getting started.
It's going to be huge, so
At
At AJ Bell, we believe every customer deserves brilliant service, which is just one reason we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. And we all trust pilots, with their smooth, captainy voices that make you feel like you'd let them land anywhere they like. Sorry, where was I? Right, AJ Bell, rated excellent by sexy pilots. I mean Trustpilot. I'm a flight risk. AJ Bell, feel good investing. The value of your investments can go up or down.
Add some sizzle to your bank holiday with Lidl on our range of deluxe hot dogs and burgers. Now 20% off with Lidl Plus. Tender, juicy and almost a little too more-ish. Lidl, more to value. 18 plus GB only while stocks last. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV. Offer ends 6th of the 5th, 26.
High octane football coverage. Game day on Talksport.
What an afternoon it is turning out to be in the Championship. Ipswich are, 45 minutes away from playing in the Premier League once more after their 2-0 half-time lead over QPR. And that, of course, means that Millwall will finish third as things stand. Southampton fourth, Middlesbrough fifth, and Derby are sixth currently after the first half results. So that is quite an upturn for Derby to be making it into the playoffs. We will keep you very much up to date with everything that happens in the second halves of these Championship matches. My goodness, there is much still to play for. Let's bring you the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Joe Dyer is back with us. How are you, Joe? Gosh, that's been an exciting first half for all the games taking place.
I know, I feel like I've played 45 minutes of football with all of that drama. Yeah, there's a lot to go at. Not least the Talksport treble, with top two finish and a top six finish. So just to kick off, the top two, we said in the first slot that Ipswich were the hot favourites to take that. And with the 2-0 lead, you'd have to say that game looks pretty much done. Ipswich are 100-1 on to go on and win. Of course, that's the first leg of the treble. Millwall are ahead. They're 10-1 on to go and win. So we are 2/3 of the way there. Obviously, there's that crazy game going on down at Wrexham, 2-2 there. We are cheering on the Borough. They're 6-4 to get that. And if those three results come in, remember that's a £187 winner for the Bobby Moore Fund. We did also suggest in that first slot that the top six finish is really probably where the drama's going to be, and it's been like just madness trying to keep up with that. Obviously, it's Hull started today at even money favourites to take that slot, with Wrexham 11-8 and Derby 7-2. And lo and behold, it's the outsiders, Derby, who hold that position. But with 45 minutes to go, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? It looks like drama is absolutely guaranteed. Derby are 2-7 favourites to go and win that game, but obviously we know that a goal in any of the others will knock them out of the top six. So, as I say, who knows what will happen? What I would say is that drama is about 100-1 shot. 100-1 on shot, not 100-1. But yeah, best of luck with the treble. Come on the Borough.
Come on the Borough for the treble. You're quite right. Joe, thank you very much. Drama no doubt to come. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago for verification. See betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, kicking off in less than half an hour's time is the Women's Champions League semi-final second leg. Arsenal holding a 2-1 advantage over Lyon, and this second leg is being played in France. Angelina Kelly is going to be right across it for us. Angelina, they hold that narrow lead, Arsenal, but they do have recent history, don't they, in beating Lyon in the Champions League?
Yes, exactly. Arsenal actually faced Lyon in the semi-finals last season, going into the second leg 2-1 down, winning 5-3 on aggregate eventually. So with the Gunners having the advantage today, they are hoping to become the first English side to reach the Champions League final in consecutive seasons. Meanwhile, Lyon are looking to win a first title since 2022. Renée Slagers makes no changes to the Arsenal side that were victorious in the first leg, which means Leah Williamson, who signed a new contract with the club this week, starts, as does goal goal scorer from that first leg, Olivia Smith, and joint leading scorer in this season's Champions League, Alessia Russo. Steph Catley is still out due to injury. Beth Mead is unavailable due to personal reasons. However, Chloe Kelly makes the bench. Jonathan Quiraldes makes 2 changes to his Lyon side from the first leg as Selma Batcher and midfielder Melchi Dumonet return from injury. Despite trailing today, the French side, who are the most successful club in this competition's history, do have the luxury of starting the recipient of the first ever Ballon d'Or Feminine and the all-time highest goal scorer in this competition, Ada Hegerberg. Kick-off is at 2 p.m. It's Lyon versus Arsenal.
Antonina, thank you very much. The two teams are out here at Portman Road, where Ipswich are on course to return to the Premier League after that 2-0 lead that they took into half-time. And it looks as though Julian Stefano is bringing the changes to his QPR side. So let's hand you back to your commentary team for this one. The former England striker Dean Ashton is alongside Ian Danta.
And there's 2 Smiths coming on for Queen's Park Rangers. Centre-half Tylan Smith is going to be coming on for what will only be his 4th QPR appearance, and also Paul Smith coming on for the start of the second half. So Clark Salter, the man making way for Tylan Smith. Paul Smith out on the left hand side, I think, for Ilias Chair. I can't see Chair out there at the start of the second. Oh no, I can see him there, he is out there. So it's could be Nicholas Madsen, who picked up a knock in the first half. Indeed, it is Madsen who's made way. Back underway here with Ipswich, 2 goals to the good, and heading for the Premier League. And I guess we shouldn't be too surprised at how solid they've been here, because they've only lost 1. As Hurst comes forward, goes for goal, hits straight to the goalkeeper. They're just carrying on their great form here at Portman Road. Only 1 defeat in 43 championship matches at Portman Road. A goal at the MKM Stadium. John Dunn. At the Den, Ollie Kling.
It's Millwall 2, Oxford 0. Femi Aziz with his 2nd of the afternoon. Lovely work from Barry Bannon to slip into Tierno Ballo down the left-hand side. He fizzed it back across goal, and there was Aziz at the back post to fire home his 2nd and Millwall's 2nd. It has them 3rd as it stands. Things not falling their way at the moment, but they are doing their side of the bargain. 3 gone in the second half. Millwall 2, Oxford 0.
So Millwall stay 3rd, 83 points with a goal difference of plus 15. Southampton and Middlesbrough 4th and 5th, both on 80. And Southampton have actually just scored a 2nd at Preston. Ross Stewart, the Loch Ness Drogba, gets the 2nd. So they will face Middlesbrough, Southampton, as things stand in the playoff semi-finals. And Millwall, who you just heard from with Ollie getting that 2nd goal against Oxford, they'll be taking on Derby County as things stand, because they're holding sway in that 3-way battle for the final playoff spot. We'll check around those grounds in a little while. Both Derby, Wrexham and Hull all at home today. Wrexham against Middlesbrough live on Talksport 2 right now. That's 2 apiece. Middlesbrough did have the faintest of faint chances of getting involved in the automatic promotion picture, but the first 10 minutes at Portman Road here really put paid to that. Dean Ashton, early stages, couple of changes from QPR. Tylan Smith and Paul Smith on, but they still haven't got a Richard Kone type player out there as a focal point of the attack.
No, or Burrell. I think, it's obviously missing the players that could really make a difference. But I think if it stays like this and it does get a little bit edgy, I think again, if you're certainly Millwall, you'd want to see that there's been a couple of changes made, because there wasn't enough in that first half for QPR to really cause Ipswich any problems.
Well, Paul Smith was one of their better performers in the 3-2 defeat at home to Derby last Saturday that we brought you on Talksport 2. Ipswich have a free kick midway point of their own half, taken by O'Shea. Back to Matasiwa, who's just splitting the 2 centre halves at the moment. Short pass into the feet of Taylor, and he'll tuck it to his left foot. Jacob Greaves under pressure from Daniel Benny. Now Philogene inside his own half, shows too much of that to Jonathan Varane, but Varane is penalised for going in too strongly on Philogene. I thought it was a 50-50 challenge. What did you make of that, Dean Ashton?
I think probably just because of the height difference. His arm is at the perfect height to catch Philogene in the face. So I think you're right in terms of 50-50 shoulder to shoulder. It's the flailing arm that caught Philogene, and you tend to get those now.
Philogene just getting himself back to his feet. 2-0 here to Ipswich Town. We've played 3.5 minutes of the second half. Let's check in the early stages of the second half at Pride Park. Derby still in the box seat. Things could change though, Alan Biggs.
Yeah, they haven't yet. It's Derby 1, Sheffield United 0. We're 6 minutes into the second half, and I think things could get quite edgy for Derby here. Actually, they were so much on top in the first half. Only scored the one goal. For comfort, there's no comfort margin at the moment. They do need a second, but they're holding on to 6th as it stands. Derby 1, Sheffield United 0.
QPR win a corner at Portman Road in the 5th minute of the second half. 2-0 Ipswich lead. Smith worked really hard to win that corner. He's gone to the near post. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger from Chair, but cleared back from whence it came. Chair will have a throw right in front of the QPR fans in the Cobbold stand on the far side of the field from us. QPR in their change strip of the pink and black halves attacking the Sir Ralph Ramsey stand to our right. And they've won another corner, have they? Well, the referee disagrees. It looked like that they're all setting themselves up for a corner. And then Gavin Ward said, no, Ipswich goal kick, 2-0 they lead.
He didn't know, that's why. He didn't know, so he's given a goal kick. Everybody else, every QPR player, Ipswich player, knew it was a corner. He didn't, and he made the wrong decision.
So Walton clears left-footed downfield for Ipswich, looking for Hurst, fighting with Tylan Smith, and the youngster actually does quite well to wrestle possession back of Hurst. Chair, little touch on halfway, trying to get Paul Smith into the game. We've got to remember there's two Smiths out there now. Be able to discern between the two. Walton has the ball back inside his own half. Now it's played to Dara O'Shea, the right-hand corner of his own penalty area. Floats it up to halfway. Hurst gets the flick on that time. And Bengay keeps the ball away from Philogene and rolls it back to his keeper. Early stages of the second half at the racecourse. What's happening there, Matt Jones?
Well, it's still Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2, but Wrexham have come out of the traps really quickly after the break, and they've had 3 chances already. Thomason flashed one from an unlikely angle wide, but Bryn has then made 2 saves, one from Smith's poke shot and then from a low drive by Rathbone that he had to get down to his left to claw away. So Wrexham are doing what they can to try and get a goal that will push them back into the top 6. Full commentary on Talksport 2, Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
QPR have won a free kick just inside the D after a terrific run from Paul Smith, cutting in from the left-hand side, upended by Jacob Greaves inside the D. Here's an opportunity for Queen's Park Rangers, Dean Ashton.
Oh, what a great run it was, though, wasn't it, from Paul Smith? Dribbling past 4 Ipswich players right through the middle of the pitch, and then Greaves sticking out a right leg. Smith going over. Possibly could have rode that challenge, and he would have been in for a strike, but what a position this is for Chair or for Vale.
So it's right in the centre of the D, if you like. Very central for Queen's Park Rangers. Ipswich have got almost a 6-man wall in front of Christian Walton. There's a couple of QPR players standing at the end of that wall, further trying to mask Christian Walton's view. It's either Chair with his right foot or Vale with his left that's going to take this free kick for QPR. It's Chair, and it's lofted over the crossbar, trying to sort of chip it into the top corner rather than give it real venom, and it ends up being a goal kick to Ipswich Town. So let's check in at the MKM, see how Hull City are getting on. If they score, things change in the playoff picture. Here's John Dunn.
Hull 1, Norwich 1. Got off slightly later here. We've only had 5 minutes of the second half. I wonder if that'll play an impact later on in the afternoon. Lots of tension, lots of nerves. Hull did get an opportunity early on. Liam Miller with a direct run down the left-hand side. Low ball into the box. Cover Savic, the keeper, there just before McBurney. Moment ago, big chance for Norwich. Paris Magoma's come on at half-time, tricking and turning on the left. His cross in. Ben Slamami almost with the goal at his mercy, just a few yards out, but somehow headed wide. 51 gone. Hull 1, Norwich 1.
Ipswich 2, QPR 0 here on Talksport with 7 minutes gone in the second half at Portman Road. Ipswich heading back to the Premier League at the first time of asking as things stand. Here's Mattassi, we're lofting the ball into the area. Philogene, brilliant save, he volleyed it goalwards, and somehow Walsh got down low to his left and kept it out with his left. And it goes out of play in the end for a throw to QPR. Big chance for 3-0 Ipswich.
Yeah, but everything was right. First of all, I have to say, with a lovely little clipped ball in towards Philogene. He takes it first time. The technique's beautiful on the half volley, sidewinding low, and it's Joe Walsh that just makes a really good save. It's going in the corner. Fair play to the goalkeeper.
So a throw for Norrington Davis down the QPR left. Benny tried to get the flick on, but Ipswich win it back. So as we've given you those updates from the sides battling for a playoff place, let me remind you, it's Derby County in that final playoff place on 72 points. Wrexham live on Talksport 2 right now, and Hull City both 71 points. So if either Wrexham or Hull score, they will go above Derby into the top 6 and have a playoff place. Let's get team news from the Premier League. There are Premier League games this afternoon, including at the G-Tech. Alex Crook.
And the team news is simple because both teams are unchanged from their last Premier League lineups. That means Callum Wilson stays on the bench despite scoring the late winner for West Ham against Everton. Vitaly Janelt back in the squad for Brentford, but not fit enough to start at the G-Tech. It's Brentford against West Ham.
Also Newcastle, Brighton, Wolves, Sunderland in 3 o'clock Premier League games. We'll bring you the team news from those as and when. You're listening to EFL Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus, fees applied to delivery orders, subject to availability, price may vary. Ian Danter and Dean Ashton with you at Portman Road. QPR showing a bit better since making those 2 half-time changes, but they're still 2-0 down. Daniel Benny, the Australian, coming in field, clipping the ball, looking for Ilias Chair, brings the ball down, right-hand corner of the area, and the referee says it's handball. After about 20,000 shouts around him said handball. Chair claims it came off the T-shirt line, and the referee's unimpressed. 2-0 Ipswich, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, there's definitely a sharper edge to Queen's Park Rangers in this second half. There was a real loud roar after Chair had put that free kick over the bar by the Ipswich supporters, just to sort of say, come on, we don't want it to be as edgy as this, even at 2-0. They want that third goal.
Yeah, wanting their players to have a second wind. And they almost got it with that volley from Philogene. Let's get the team news briefly from St James's Park. Steve Harmison.
Anthony Gordon is back in the squad, but only on the bench. One change for either side. Joe Linton in for Ramsey for Newcastle, and Welbeck in for Rutter for the visitors.
Thank you, Steve. QPR coming forward down the right, and Bengay fouls Philogene this time. He's been in the wars, Jaden Philogene, this afternoon down the Ipswich left. It was unintentional from Mbenge. He was trying to swing to win the ball. Players from both sides, substitutes benches going out to warm up down beneath us. Jack Clark amongst those. Surely we'll see him sooner rather than later, but he's not needed in the sense of trying to rescue anything for Ipswich Town. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Ipswich Premier League bound, 2-0 up against Queen's Park Rangers here on your home with the EFL Talksport, where I remind you League 1 and League 2 will finish this afternoon in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Live on Talksport 2, it'll be Exeter trying to avoid relegation to League 2, who'll be taking on Bradford, whose playoff place is not completely assured. Adam Bridge and Perry Groves down at St James Park in Devon. And Adrian Durham taking you around the grounds here on Talksport with all the key games in League 1 and League 2 with promotion, playoff and relegation issues to be settled. And then when it comes to the playoffs, we do the lot. Every single playoff, semi-final and final is only here on the Talksport network. Nobody can or will do more than we do for the EFL across the season. Here come Queen's Park Rangers, 2-0 down, but Paul Smith again with a great run up to the edge of the area, goes for goal, blocked out by Walton. Benny went in for the follow-up, and he actually caught Dara O'Shea. But Paul Smith has been a real live wire, the Northern Irishman, since coming on at the break for Queen's Park Rangers, and another scintillating run from him brought the best out of Christian Walton in the end.
Oh, he's been brilliant since coming on. So sharp, great dribbling ability, manages to get his shot away at the end of it this time, through the legs of Greaves, which made it difficult for Walton to get down to his right-hand side. O'Shea had to be nice and alert to make sure that Benny didn't get that rebound, but once again, just a little warning to Ipswich that this isn't over until you get that third goal.
So the latest scores in the Championship: Blackburn 0, Leicester 0, Bristol City 1, Stoke 0, Derby 1, Sheffield United 0. Derby in the playoffs as things stand. Hull 1, Norwich 1, Hull missing out. Ipswich 2-0 up on QPR here on Talksport at Portman Road. Millwall 2, Oxford 0. Not enough for Millwall to get automatic because of what Ipswich are doing here. Portsmouth 1, Birmingham 1, Preston 0, Southampton 2. Southampton consolidating a playoff berth in 4th. Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Brom 0, Swansea 0, Charlton 0, Watford 0, Coventry 3 now, and Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2 live on Talksport 2. Here come Ipswich Town, looking to add to their scoreline as down goes Darnell Furlong. Referee says play on because Wes Burns is charging down the Ipswich right, faced up by Norrington Davis, his compatriot, tries to get the cross in, Norrington Davis blocks it out of play, thrown to Ipswich down by the corner flag, 2-0.
They just need to lift things, Ipswich. And the likes of Birds of Villagine can be those players. They can get 1v1. Jack Clark has been going through a pretty strenuous warm-up so far. Little glances back. He wants his moment in the limelight, I'm sure.
Well, he's going to have to wait because it looks like Anis Mehmeti is going to come on before him. By the way, Ellis Sims has got a hat-trick for Coventry. He got the 3rd goal at Watford. They are going up in style as Frank Lampard wanted. Long throw for Darnell Furlong into the QPR penalty area. Joe Walsh claims well at the edge of his 6-yard box under a little bit of pressure, does well. And QPR can try and build from the back again with Ronnie Edwards just on the edge of the 18-yard line. Now Jack Clark is getting instruction from Kieran McKenna. Goal at Pride Park, Alan Biggs.
This changes things. It's Derby 1, Sheffield United 1. Tom Cannon has side-footed the visitors level here at a stunned Pride Park because Sheffield United are barely threatened in this game. There was just a Callum O'Hare shot wide of the near post earlier, but a mistake in the right-back position, giving the ball away. And Harmer and also the striker Bamford fed it on to Cannon. He slotted home. It's Derby 1, Sheffield United 1.
That puts Wrexham back into the playoffs. Let's get back to the racecourse. Matt Jones.
And that noise has certainly filtered around here. It's still Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2, but after a fairly flat atmosphere for the opening 15 minutes of this half, the home fans to my right-hand side have really just burst into life in reaction. There's also been a reaction from Phil Parkinson, a double sub from him, an attacking one at that, as Nathan Broadhead has come onto the field, so has Sheaf with Dobson and Rathbone withdrawn. He wants to leave nothing out there today. It's still, though, Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
So all the playoff protagonists are drawing at the moment. Wrexham, Hull City and Derby County. That means it's as you were. Wrexham 6th in the final playoff berth. Hull 7th, Derby 8th. Back here at Portman Road, 2-0 to Ipswich. Bit of afters between Amadou and Bengay, the QPR right back, and Jayden Philogene, the Ipswich left winger, who've been in the wars all game. And Philogene, I think Dean Ashton, squared up to Mbenge as if to say, I've had enough of you and your antics, and it got a bit feisty for a moment but then calmed down. Changes being made.
Now he's got the hook.
Well, Philogene has now gone off, and Jack Clark, top goal scorer for Ipswich Town this season, he's on to replace him. Also Casey McAteer is going to replace Wes Burns, who is just moving a little awkwardly, but he's not walking around the edge of the pitch. He's going to come all the way to the near touchline. And the other change, we'll see Koki Saito coming on for QPR for Ilias Chair back in the team today, but the Japanese comes on to replace him. So McAteer for Burns, Clark for Philogene. What a round of applause for Wes Burns. They love him here. And as we mentioned at the start, Dean Ashton, he was one of those players who was here 2 years ago when promotion was achieved.
Yeah, that bit of experience, that's vital, isn't it?
His contract's up as well. I wonder whether he might be persuaded to stick around for another year.
He's one of those, at his best, I would say, has got Premier League quality in him as a player.
So, back underway with Hurst trying to roll Tylon Smith, who turns the ball behind for an Ipswich corner. They do need a 3rd goal, Ipswich, just for the crowd's sake, I mean, because Ipswich have allowed QPR a little bit of possession and territory in the second half. We saw that blistering run from Paul Smith that nearly brought a goal back into the game for the Londoners.
Yeah, I think you see QPR off with the 3rd. I think you can really start to relax and allow your supporters to enjoy this.
Short corner, Jack Clark driving for the byline, this left-hand side of the area, held up by Varane. Has to run away from the penalty area, back towards this near touchline. Still keeps it though, and tucks it infield for Nunez. Really good play from Jack Clark. Nunez drills the ball deep to the far post. Attempted header across the face of goal from O'Shea, who was up as part of the attack. But the ball's worked back to Matusiwa. Manchester United's women equalising added time against Brighton in the WSL 1-1. Leah Schuler. Here is Casey McAteer trying to get involved for the first time down the right, but the ball skips away from him over the dead ball line, and QPR have a goal kick. 64 minutes gone on Talksport on the final day of the championship. Ipswich going up. They're 2-0 up here against QPR, stopping Millwall from a dramatic final day. In fact, we should check in at the Den, see what the atmosphere is like. Probably a little bit quiet for Ollie Klink and Tony Cascarino.
It is, Dan. 24 minutes to go. Millwall 2, Oxford 0. It is all Millwall here. Ryan Leonard's just had a fizzing drive tipped round the post by the goalkeeper. Femi Aziz has really enjoyed himself. 2 goals so far this afternoon. He's been spinning away from defenders. Always dangerous down that right-hand side. Tony, they want him in that form for the playoffs, but it just feels, doesn't it, as if that dream is fading away. They need some QPR magic, don't they, to give this place some life.
We need a bit of a lift, Ollie. A goal maybe at Ipswich for obviously QPR. I'll tell you what I'm enjoying today, Barry Bannon. I mean, Aziz has got 2 great goals, but Barry Bannon's passing and his just ability with his vision is extraordinary. You know, he's not the biggest player, he's not the most physical, but boy, he's got a wonderful touch and a great eye for a pass.
Still relying on that QPR magic to send them second. Dance as it stands, though, Millwall securing third place. 23 minutes to go, Millwall 2, Oxford 0.
2-0 here to Ipswich as well, with 25 minutes to play on Talksport. So a recap of the table as things stand. Coventry 3-0 up at Watford, champions. Great day for them, great season for them. Ipswich going up with them by virtue of this 2-0 win, 84 points to Coventry's 95. Millwall, who you've just heard from there with Ollie and Tony, finishing third on 83 points, a point shy of Ipswich. Then Southampton fourth on 80 points. Middlesbrough fifth, also on 80 points, but an inferior goal scored record to Southampton. Wrexham are in sixth. They are ahead of Hull City by 1 goal. But then Hull City are drawing. If Hull get a goal, then they'll be in the box seat. So we'll be back round those 3 teams, Wrexham, Hull and Derby, all drawing. But that favours Wrexham. If Derby score or if Hull score, they're back in the playoff zone. As Ipswich win a corner away to our left-hand side at the Sir Bobby Robson stand-in this beautiful, bright sunshine. Very similar to the weather that Ipswich enjoyed 2 years ago when promotion was theirs against already relegated Huddersfield Town. And they're just willing a third goal here, those fans behind the goal to our left. They want that little bit of breathing space. Goal at Derby, meantime, Alan Biggs.
Wow, it's Derby 1, Sheffield United 2. Sidney Peck with the second goal, spearing it in from the edge of the area, and also a spear to the heart, potentially, of Derby's playoff hopes, which have looked so good for so long here at Pride Park, but they've been hit by 2 Blades goals in this second half. Tom Cannon and now Peck with a well-judged shot from just outside the area, all to do for the home team. Stunned at Pride Park. Derby 1, Sheffield United 2.
And there you go, the integrity of the EFL Championship shown once again. Sheffield United, nothing to play for, still wanted to go out and get the win, so Derby really up against it. Between Hull and Wrexham then at the moment, both on 71 points, Derby down to 69. Wrexham in that final playoff berth. That goal will have been greeted with cheers at both the Racecourse and the MKM. Here come QPR down the left-hand side, looking for a goal with a quarter of the game to go to try and unsettle the locals here at Portman Road. Varane spreads play out to the right-hand side, and Mbenge played the ball through, looking for the run of Daniel Benny, but out came Christian Walton. Good starting position from the Ipswich keeper, and he cleared it up to halfway, where Jack Clark kept it in play, and then the ball's hit against Clark by Tylan Smith. Throw into QPR. Dean Ashton.
Just stuck, aren't they? Ipswich stuck at 2-0, happy, don't want to overcommit, want to be solid, but not really doing enough to look as if they're going to get the third goal. Doesn't matter. Keep it at this.
I think that's why Kieran McKenna's just beckoned Anis Mehmeti and Ivan Azon to the bench. I think they might be coming on shortly for the Suffolk club. Meantime, QPR have a throw on halfway, and Bengate plays into the feet of Daniel Benny, tries to lay it off for Varane, intercepted by Jack Clark. Now Clark's on the burst into the QPR half, only Hurst up with him in the moment. Clark's going alone, drags it across the face of goal and wide for a goal kick. So that goal, putting Derby behind, means Hull City have got to try and leapfrog Wrexham to get into the top 6. They're 1-1 at the moment. Wrexham are 2-2. Let's get the latest from the MKM with Talksport's John Dunn.
And Hull have scored. It's Hull 2, Norwich 1, and Ollie McBurney has got his second goal of the game to put Hull, as things stand, into 6th position. Free kick from the halfway line. Louis Coyle sending it into the box, heading down to McBurney inside the 6-yard area, steered it into the back of the net. The noise levels had gone up with those Sheffield United goals. They've got even higher now. Big moments ahead for Hull. Hull 2, Norwich 1.
So during the course of this afternoon, all three teams in that playoff fight have held on to 6th place. Now for the first time, it's Hull City. How's that gone down at the racecourse? News must be filtering through there. Matt Jones.
Yeah, still Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2, and those Wrexham fans have been silenced at the moment because that news has filtered through that they are out of a playoff spot. We've just got to pause in play because Kabore is down injured. Wrexham are about to bring on Kiefer Moore. They haven't had a chance since the 53rd minute of this game when Rathbone's low shot was saved. That's 20 minutes ago. They need one now, and they need it to go in. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
Double change back at Portman Road for Ipswich Town. Ivan Azon coming on for George Hurst, who got things going. Hurst for Ipswich in the first couple of minutes. And Anis Mehmeti coming on for Marcelino Nunez for like-for-like switches for Ipswich Town, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, just trying to freshen up, wanting that third goal. Nice to be able to bring on the likes of Mehmeti, Azon. Mehmeti in particular. Got good numbers this season for goals and assists. Can he add to that to round this performance off for Ipswich?
So with that Hull City goal, here's how the top 6 looks. Coventry 1, Ipswich 2, and then the playoffs. Millwall still 3rd, 83 points. Southampton 4th, 80 points. Middlesbrough 5th, 80 points, but behind on goal scored to Southampton. And Hull 73 points in 6th. That leaves Wrexham on 71. But if Wrexham score again, they'll go above Hull into that 6th place. Derby County losing at home down to 69 points, having led against Sheffield United. QPR keep the ball in play on the far side of the field, but then Ipswich win it back. Jack Clark into the D. Tyler Smith holding him up, finds Mehmeti in space, trying to drive it across goal. It just squirts away from both Ivan Azon, who was offside anyway, and other Ipswich players, so it ends up being a free kick to QPR. Remember, we're going around the grounds in the Premier League and in League 1 and League 2 this afternoon from 3 o'clock with Adrian Durham. Adrian's going to be based at Crewe, who are going to try and deny Cambridge automatic promotion this afternoon. Cambridge, Salford and Notts County going for automatic promotion from League 2. And in League 1, all sorts of things to sort out. Exeter, they're going to be live on Talksport 2, trying to get above Leyton Orient so they can avoid relegation, the last relegation place down to League 2 from League 1. Stockport need a point at Barnsley to make sure of the playoffs. Azon making a run through the centre. Tylon Smith gets there first, and it's guided back to the keeper. You've also got Bradford, Stevenage and Luton, who could all overcome Stockport for a playoff place. Plymouth still have a say on the playoffs. We could nab 6th off Stevenage. Loads going on, and Adrian will keep you in touch with all of that with our reporters around the grounds. And we've also got live football tomorrow, Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Scott Minto and Perry Groves. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League, the Scottish Premiership, the Women's Premier League and the Women's Champions League. That includes the big game at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Liverpool and Bournemouth against Palace. And then Sunday night football I should say. We've got Monday night football of course, but we've got Sunday night football too. Aston Villa against Tottenham, an exclusive Talksport commentary. 7 o'clock kickoff at Villa Park. Reshvin Chowdhury, Sam Matterface and Charlie Adam will be your team at Villa Park. And where will Tottenham be after everybody else has had a kick of the football before them? Monday night football incidentally is Everton against Manchester City from Hill Dickinson, 8 o'clock kickoff. Ipswich 2-0 up with 17 minutes to go, and now they're just playing the ball around in little short triangles, working the ball back to halfway, and Dara O'Shea I wonder whether the fight has started to drift away from Queen's Park Rangers. Swansea take the lead against Charlton. Adam Eder and Leicester relegated but lead at Blackburn Rovers. Steffi Mavididi for the Foxes. Here's Anis Mehmeti down the Ipswich inside right, trying to feed it down the right-hand touchline for Casey McAteer. It's good defending by Rhys Norrington-Davis, and he was fouled by McAteer. Free kick to Queen's Park Rangers, and the locals don't like it. 2-0 to Ipswich.
No, they don't, but they've looked comfortable, haven't they? Ipswich, for the last 15 minutes, have just contained the game, turned it into a calm affair, even though Ipswich supporters don't look still that calm. They should. They've looked comfortable, Ipswich, so far in this second half.
Shake of the head from the producer tells you that's not true. Anyway, ball headed over halfway, trying to get Azon away. QPR dealing with it. Edwards holding Azon up. No foul, says the referee, and Benge sweeps the ball up to halfway. Vale with a good touch into the feet of Benny. Now Saito. He's got Smith, Paul Smith, waiting on the left-hand side. Slides it into him now, left-hand corner of the area. Coming in field, might get a shot on window. Chips it to the far post. Vale, terrible header across the face of goal. Comes out to Saito. Shot is blocked and it almost dropped for Benny. And Jacob Greaves hurriedly and desperately cleared it away for a QPR throw. 2-0 Ipswich, but again, QPR looked lively for a moment.
Yeah, just a little opening, wasn't it? Smith on the left-hand side, picking out Vale in the area. I've got no idea what the header was from Vale.
That was a 50-pence header, wasn't it?
I think he was trying to just nod that back to Benny. And in the end, then Saito took the strike on, and again, that deflection could have gone anywhere. It's just those little moments that are a little nervy for Ipswich.
I did one of those headers on Thursday night. Actually, I do it every night. I think they called it Toblerone head. Ball's back with Tylan Smith, half-time substitute for QPR. Quarter of an hour to play. Ball stolen by Jack Clark. He's away down the left-hand side for Ipswich. Gets inside Harvey Vale. Still going Jack Clark to around the penalty spot. Turns. Will now feed it right for Casey McAteer. Now Mehmeti clipping it to the far post. Doesn't come for Azon. Comes out to Lee Davis. They say shoot all around Portman Road, but instead he holds the ball up and tucks it back in field to Matusiwa. And then further back to Dara O'Shea. Davis has it again. They won't cry shoot now. He's hugging the left-hand touchline. Keeps it away from Vale. Matusiwa into the feet of the lively Clark. Goes down. Foul by Mbenge. Free kick to Ipswich Town. Let's check in at the MKM. Hull City in front and heading for the playoffs. Last time we heard from John Dunn.
Still the same downford into the final 15 minutes of normal time. Hull 2, Norwich 1. Norwich had led. McBurney's penalty and then McBurney's goal with about 20 minutes remaining, giving Hull that advantage. We've got everyone's favourite at the moment. Ivor Pandor, the Hull goalkeeper, out nowhere, has gone down to receive treatment. All of the Hull players over on this side to get the tactical instructions that they hope will take them into the playoffs. 15 to go. Hull 2, Norwich 1.
Ipswich free kick at the Sir Bobby Robson stand end. Going to be drifted in by Leif Davis. Jack Clark is standing on his own down the left-hand side of the box, but now Paul Smith recognises that he's in space and closes down that space. So Davis with this free kick lofted into the area. Far post, O'Shea! Just the wrong side of the post with the header. Tried to guide it back from whence it came, and that only missed the far post by a whisker. Goal kick to QPR. That was nearly cue the celebrations. Ipswich 2, QPR 0.
He was totally free at the back post. He just drifted in, and he's trying to nod this back for McAteer. He's not trying to score. He almost does in the end as it drifts towards that far post, but he's just trying to lay that on a plate for McAteer. Got the header wrong.
So it'll be a goal kick sent downfield from Joe Walsh, the QPR keeper. Good distance on it. Daniel Benny gets the flick on. Won't drop though for Koki Saito. Morgan trying to win the ball back. Oh, it touched his arm. Referee says play on. As Clark tries to play an early ball over the top for Azon. One back by Mehmeti. Finds Azon inside the area. Tries to square it across for Mehmeti, who continued his run. QPR did enough at the back to win the ball back. And now Norrington Davis out on the left-hand side, tight to that far touchline. Does work the ball in field, but it's in between the runs of both Smith and Benny. Ipswich play the ball downfield. 12 minutes to go. Ipswich 2, QPR 0. Ipswich going up. We'll check back in at Pride Park in a moment, because Derby were in 6th place for a while this afternoon. They're now way outside. They need 2 goals to stand a chance. They're 2-1 down to Sheffield United, who have nothing to play for. QPR with nothing to play for. Work the ball up to the edge of the area. It'll break down the right-hand side for Amadou Mbengue. Deep ball to the far post. Paul Smith goes up, but Furlong with a brave header turns it behind for a QPR corner. Let's get to Pride Park and talk sports. Alan Biggs.
Yeah, Derby 1, Sheffield United 2. Derby's effort and impetus is sagging, but they're losing this not so much in the second half, more the first. So dominant, only 1 goal, and punished by Tom Cannon and Sidney Peck. It's Derby 1, Sheffield United 2.
And there's going to be a substitution. Isaac Alamaheu, centre midfielder from the QPR Academy, going to make his debut, having arrived from Djurgården in September. So Alamaheu coming on, and it's Kieran Morgan that's making way. Daniel Benny's just sitting down wanting treatment, so whilst he's having treatment, let's check in at the racecourse ground, because Wrexham need a goal, and if they get a goal they'll leapfrog Hull. What's the latest, Matt Jones?
It's still Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2, as a volley from distance goes over the bar from James. To be honest, that's the only chance they've mustered of late. It's been Middlesbrough who've been the side looking more likely to score, and if it wasn't for an outstanding save by Ward and then a brilliant block by Hyam on the follow-up, Castledine would have scored one of those 2 chances. Ayling has also sent a flicked header narrowly wide from a target free kick as well. The equation is simple for Wrexham: score, win. As results stand, they will be in the playoffs, but they're out of them at the moment. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
So Isaac Alamayehu is on for QPR. 10 minutes to go on Talksport on final day. The table looks like this at the moment. Ipswich going up with Coventry in 2nd, Millwall in 3rd on 83, Southampton in 4th on 80 points, Middlesbrough also 80 points in 5th, but an inferior goal scored record means Southampton will finish above them. Hull City are in the playoffs, been in danger of dropping out for some time, but they are in front against Norwich City. We'll be back at the MKM shortly. Wrexham are 71 points to Hull 73, so if Wrexham get another goal, if they score against Middlesbrough in the Talksport 2 commentary, they will be back in the top 6. And Derby, well, they've got to score 2 goals and hope that Hull drop points. As the stewards start to move around the perimeter of the pitch to prevent any pitch invasion on the 90-minute mark. Lots of luck with that. 81 minutes gone. Ipswich 2, QPR 0 on Talksport, your home of the EFL. A couple of quick goals at Swansea. It was 1-1 briefly. Charlton equalised through Miles Lieberman, but Adam Eder has his and Swansea's second of the game. Swansea 2, Charlton 1. Lee Davis with a free kick for Ipswich. Greaves cushions a header down for Jack Clark. Down the left-hand side, swings a lovely right-footed ball in. Keeper goes up and claims it comfortably for QPR. Heading towards 82 minutes played. Another QPR youngster, Leon Scarlett's going to get a few minutes out there for Julian Stefan for these last few minutes. Harvey Bale, meantime, runs into Jack Taylor, who's put in his usual all-action midfield performance, Dean Ashton, for Ipswich this afternoon. No nonsense, and has won the ball when required.
Yeah, it was his energy at the start that led Ipswich, and now he's needed just to keep things tight.
Here is Bale on halfway for QPR. Alamayehu knocks it down for Varane. Alamayehu gets it back. Bristol City 2, Stoke City 0. Sam Bell late on for Bristol City. And West Brom have a goal back at Sheffield Wednesday. That's 2-1 to Sheffield Wednesday. Karlan Grant, once off Wednesday, I seem to remember, getting a goal back for West Bromwich Albion. But at the top, the important information, if you're just tuning into Talksport, is that Ipswich are 2-0 up here and heading for a promotion back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Millwall will have to make do with the playoffs, so too Southampton and Middlesbrough. Hull City are currently holding that final playoff berth and keeping Wrexham and Derby County at arm's length. Here's Paul Smith going for goal for Hull. It's blocked out by Walton, came out to Daniel Benny, and he screwed his right-footed volley horribly over the bar. That's 3 times that Paul Smith has caused Ipswich problems. This time Walton was more than capable of dealing with the save. Firmly struck shot from Paul Smith. Saves 2-0 Ipswich.
Yeah, it's just a couple of times he's had to make decent saves. Walton, and actually the chance then for Benny was a really good one. Sidewinding volley, just needed to crash that on target. Could easily have scored and got underneath it and up and over.
For the first time, "We are going up" is the chant from almost every Ipswich supporter in the ground, bar one, who sat to my immediate left and is refusing to join in until the final whistle goes. 2-0 to Ipswich Town, and there's going to be a change, and Leon Scarlett is going to come on for QPR to replace Amadou Mbengue, and Dan Neil is going to get a few minutes as well in the Ipswich midfield. He's been scrapping for midfield place with Jack Taylor. Talksport breakfast back on Monday morning when you wake up. Ali McCoyston, Gabby Ogbonlahor. What sort of mood will Gabby be in if Spurs have beaten Villa on Sunday night? I'm just saying, it could happen. Jeff Stelling back with Ali on Tuesday, and then the return of Alan Brazil Wednesday morning. He'll have Ali with him, and of course by Wednesday morning we'll know Arsenal's fate in the Champions League as they take on Atleti in that second leg Tuesday night at Emirates Stadium. Back underway here at Portman Road, just over 5 minutes to go. Ipswich 2-0 up and cruising. Azon tries to muscle Tylan Smith out of the way. Edwards with 2 or 3 pirouettes and then loses out to McAteer. It's squared across. Here goes Taylor, but out comes the goalkeeper and it's tucked away. Casey McAteer seals the deal for Ipswich Town. They're heading back to the Premier League now, no doubt about it. First time of asking, and Casey McAteer gambled when the ball ran loose. The keeper couldn't hold it. McAteer profited, and under blue skies, it's the land of the Premier League that Ipswich Town are heading back to next season, and the crowd has gone potty. Ipswich Town 3, QPR 0. Welcome back to the top flight, Ipswich Town.
Well, they've had to wait 40 minutes for that third goal. Finally, Ipswich can relax and start to celebrate. By sheer force of will, they managed to score that goal, and who else but Jack Taylor smashing, crashing his way through the QPR defence, and Joe Walsh as well, possibly a foul on the goalkeeper, but who was there? McAteer was there just to steer it home and wheel away to enjoy promotion.
Yeah, Taylor did so well, but the ball just broke loose. And Jack Taylor getting a huge hug as he's making way for Dan Neil, having played a significant part in that third Ipswich goal. Jack Taylor applauding all sides of Portman Road, having had a lovely hug from Leif Davis, and now he has a double high five with Dan Neil. So things are pretty much settled here at Portman Road. Wrexham need a goal to try and go above Hull City, otherwise it's the Tigers that will take the final playoff place. Let's nip back to the racecourse ground and check in with Talksport's Matt Jones.
It's Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2 with 1 minute plus added time to go. There will be a chunk of it because Kabore had 2 or 3 minutes down injured before being brought off. Smith's just had a chance, blocked away, but Wrexham really should have gone back in Huddo. Good run forward by Broadhead. He picked out Windass on the edge of the area, completely unmarked, couldn't get his shot on target, sent it over the bar and into the fans. They are throwing men forward now. Can they find a goal? Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
Celebrations already underway here at Portman Road. It's louder than a Motorhead concert right now, and trust me, I've been to one of those, and it's loud here. 3 minutes to go, 3-0 to Ipswich. Must be nervous at the MKM as Hull are closing in on a playoff place. Let's get there, John Dunn.
Yeah, you can feel the nerves down. Hull 2, Norwich 1 into the final 4 minutes. The noise, the atmosphere is electric. If Wrexham were to go 3-2 up, but if Hull were to make it 3-1, Hull would pit Wrexham on goal difference. Ollie McBurney has been denied a hat-trick. Low ball in from the left from Giles. McBurney couldn't get the power on the shot at the near post, and it's a comfortable save by Kovacevic. Couple of changes for Hull into the final stages. Hull 2, Norwich 1.
So Hull hanging on to that final playoff berth at the expense of Wrexham And Derby County, as you've heard, led but are now behind at home to Sheffield United. Swansea 3-1 up on Charlton at the Swansea.com Stadium. Leo Valter with the third for Swansea. Ipswich meantime have a throw, but the crowd are more interested in singing than what's happening on the pitch. They're going through their choir practice, Dean Ashton. Let's update you from the Women's Champions League. Lyon against Arsenal. Angelina Kelly.
It's Lyon 0, Arsenal 0. Lyon captain Wendy Reynard has missed her penalty after Arsenal goalkeeper Van Domselaar guessed the right way, dove to her left and saved it. That was after Lotte Ruben-Moy brought down a Lyon player inside the box, and it was awarded by VAR, but Lyon missed. It's Lyon 0, Arsenal 0.
Thank you, Angelina. Into the last minute of normal time here at Portman Road on Talksport. You're home of the EFL with the playoffs to come. Ipswich don't have to worry about the playoffs. It's all about automatic promotion, and there's already fans who have straddled the advertising hoardings at the Bobby Robson stand end, ready to sprint onto the pitch when referee Gavin Ward brings play to a close. For all the money in the world, I couldn't be a steward, because it's like trying to push treacle uphill, trying to hold back supporters who want to rush onto the pitch to celebrate promotion at the end of the season. Meantime, there is some football going on the pitch there. Mehmeti down by the corner flag, right hand side. He's dispossessed. I couldn't quite gather who that. Are you watching? So was it Delia? Could be Delia, I don't know. Norwich. Well, of course it's Norwich. I'll say nothing to Dean Ashton on that score. He's a former Norwich player.
Yeah, my sunglasses will be on. Hat.
False nursing glasses like Perry Groves wears. Leicester have won at Blackburn to round up their season. We're into 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time here at Portman Road. Ipswich are going up. Hull are into the playoffs, unless Wrexham can do something dramatic. That's live on Talksport 2 right now. They're still locked at 2-2 against Middlesbrough. Southampton are 3-1 up at Preston. Carl Larin with another goal. And back to the Women's Champions League and Angelina Kelly.
It is Lyon 1, Arsenal 0, due to Van Domselaar coming off her line. Lyon got to retake the penalty. Captain Wendy Reynard steps up to the spot and fires it into the back of the net this time. So it is Lyon 1, Arsenal 0, Arsenal drawing 2-2 now on aggregate.
Into added time here at Portman Road. Tyler Smith for QPR. And I was wondering, Dean Ashton, before the game, how, if promotion was to be achieved this afternoon, how the celebrations would compare to the utter euphoria we experienced 2 years ago after Ipswich had been out of the top flight for a generation. I sense this isn't going to be far off what we saw 2 years back, right?
I think you're absolutely right. Almost a more relaxed feel to it, you'd see, just because of that tension and how long they'd waited. This is just pure enjoyment for them, and they've deserved it today, that's for sure.
No enjoyment for Hull or Wrexham fans. Let's get back to Hull City. Anything happening in the light stages there? They're hanging on, John Dunn.
And they keep giving possession away, which is just providing Norwich with the potential to come forward. Although you can hear the noise, you can feel the tension. Hull now camped on the edge of their own penalty area. Ollie McBurney with 2 goals may see Hull claim 6th position. We are into 6 minutes of injury time. It's Hull 2, Norwich 1.
And how long left at the racecourse ground with the other team gunning for a playoff place? Matt Jones.
60 seconds to go. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2. Wrexham have just had a corner. They sent all 11 forward, including the goalkeeper Danny Ward, but couldn't get a touch on it, and then committed a foul on the edge of the area as they tried to wrestle back possession. So time running out for the goal that they need. It's Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
Asson inside the area for Ipswich. Lays it back to the edge of the area. Dan Neal tries to fire it into the roof of the net, and it goes wide. And it's going to be a goal kick to QPR. And more fans are now massed around the edge of the pitch, having climbed over the advertising hoardings all round us, not just at the Bobby Robson stand, but at all 4 sides of the ground. They are ready to celebrate big time with their players. Minute and a half of the minimum 4 left to play. Ipswich 3, QPR 0 on Talksport.
Well, it feels as if the stewards and police were brought on to allow them onto the pitch, but in a controlled manner, because they haven't stopped them getting out of their seats and lining up on the outside.
Good luck with that. A controlled fashion. I'll believe it when I see it. Watford 0, Coventry 4 as a full-time score. What a way for Coventry to round off their title-winning season. Bristol City have beaten Stoke by 2-0. Portsmouth and Birmingham has finished 1-1 down at Fratton Park. Free kick for QPR as on fires Tyler Smith. We are going up, starts again around the stadium. Back it goes to the QPR defence. Let's check it at Wrexham again. Is there another chance, Matt Jones?
It's full time. It's Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2. All the goals coming in the first half. Wrexham were behind, then ahead, and then the Strelic equaliser means Middlesbrough have got a point. Wrexham are waiting to see what happens at Hull, to see if they get a playoff pace. At the moment they don't. Wrexham 2, Middlesbrough 2.
Because if Hull get pegged back by Norwich, then things do change. Quickly to John Dunn.
Errol Mundle-Smith for Norwich with a shot just over the bar. That full-time whistle has been felt around Hull. Fans hugging each other, but they still have work to do. We've got 4 minutes of the 6 minutes of added time to be played. You've got to feel for Sergei Yarokovic, the Hull manager, suspended today. He's in the stands. He's been looking cool and composed throughout the afternoon. Just with a close-up of him on the screen. Not looking cool now, but you can hear the roar. It's Hull 2, Norwich 1.
The fireworks go off at Portman Road as the full-time whistle goes, and Ipswich are back at the summit of English football at the first time of asking. What an atmosphere in Suffolk as the Tractor Boys do it again. A third promotion in 4 seasons for Kieran McKenna and Ipswich Town. QPR were the whipping boys this afternoon. It ended 3-0. And all the fans massed around the centre circle. There are Ipswich players in there somewhere. I think Jack Taylor's in there somewhere for one. A lot of players managed to escape to the tunnel area to our right. But there's Ipswich players in there being held aloft by their adoring fans, because Ipswich Town have done it again, Dean Ashton. Promotion back to the Premier League. Not by winning as champions, same as 2 years ago. They've had to do it just automatic. But these celebrations mirror exactly what we saw here 24 months ago when Huddersfield were defeated.
Doesn't matter whether it's champions or second. It's just a brilliant achievement. Kieran McKenna stands on the top of the dugout and shows his appreciation to the supporters. He's stuck here with them. They've gone again. It was a poor start to the season for them, but they've ground down the rest of the championship to get over the line. It's some achievement. It's so difficult to get to the Premier League and out of the championship. They've done it again. They've done it with a great performance as well today. Fully deserved for these supporters to enjoy.
Masses of supporters on the pitch celebrating this moment. Christian Walton is now in the mix. I found his goalkeeping jersey as he's being held aloft by delighted Ipswich fans. I think Anis Mehmeti's in there as well, just next to him. And these are joyous scenes for Ipswich fans. And they're getting used to the promotion habit. What they don't want to get used to as well, Dean Ashton, would be the relegation habit. They would like to consolidate this, something that they were not able to do 2 seasons ago.
No, well, that'll be to come, I'm sure. But you've got to enjoy these moments, how difficult the season is. The ups and downs, the emotions that you have to go through to eventually feel the joy of promotion, which is why these supporters want to take it in, want to get close to everything and the celebrations. And you've got to let them enjoy it.
And enjoy it they will, long into the night, all the way through the summer, knowing that next season it'll be Premier League football for Ipswich Town once again. They seal the second automatic promotion spot after a final score here at a euphoric Portman Road. Ipswich Town 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Oh my goodness, what an afternoon it has been here at Portman Road, and the pitch now really is a sea of blue and white with all the fans on it. Kieran McKenna Just watching him in the last few minutes, he's gone through an array of different emotions, from smiling to looking quite shocked as well. But look, let's take you back to what's happening elsewhere, to the closing stages at Hull. John Dunn.
The full-time whistle has just gone, and Hull City will take the last playoff place, and they've done it the hard way. They fell behind in the first half to Mohamed Touré's volley, but within 2 minutes Oliver Burney stepped up from the penalty spot after Gelhardt was found by McConville to slide down the centre of the goal. In fairness, Hull, it was a performance filled with tension and nerves. Norwich playing with freedom, but with 20 minutes remaining, a free kick from the halfway line was sent in by Louis Coyle, headed down by Matt Crooks, and McBurney from close range was able to stay home his 18th goal of the season. Just as we have at Portman Road, there is a pitch invasion here at the MKM Stadium. Hull, knowing that they've made the playoffs, they have a chance to return to the Premier League. They made it there through the playoffs in 2008 and in 2016. Could they do it again in 2026? The full-time score, Hull 2, Norwich 1.
John, thank you very much. And finally, to Pride Park, where Derby were taking on Sheffield United. Alan Biggs.
Yes, finished here. Derby County 1, Sheffield United 2. Not to be for the Rams. And yet, for more than half this game, they were in the playoffs, courtesy of a dominant first half and Sam Schmoddick's goal. But the problem was Derby didn't add to it. Sheffield United could be guaranteed to make it a nervy second half. And sure enough, as Derby ran out of energy, Chris Wilder's side duly punished them 2 goals in 7 minutes midway into the second half. Joe Ward's misplaced pass leading to Tom Cannon's nicely struck equaliser, and then a lovely flighted 20-yard effort from Sidney Peck confirmed Derby missing out. But for a sense of perspective, at this time last year, Derby were escaping relegation. John Eustace has done a superb job to bring them this far, and a full house of 32,500 clearly, absolutely recognise that, despite the disappointment today in finishing Derby 1, Sheffield United 2.
Alan, thank you very much. It was never in their hands. They were reliant on Ipswich to slip up. That never happened. But let's check in with how it finished for Millwall against Oxford. Ollie Klink.
It finished Millwall 2, Oxford 0. Millwall did their side of the bargain here, Natalie, but they've come up 1 point short of automatic promotion after that win for Ipswich. They finished third. It was a double from Femi Aziz either side of half-time, which did the damage on the day, but it wasn't enough to send them second, and they will have to battle their way up via the playoffs. Tony Cascarino alongside me. Disappointment for Millwall today, but it was never in their hands, and they have the chance to go again.
Yeah, Ollie, and Millwall played well. We're never in trouble, were they, in the game? Oxford tried to work hard and make it competitive. Aziz was the difference, certainly in the goal scoring stakes. I mentioned Bannon before. Look at Crummer and Cooper in the heart of the defence, never really troubled. It was a comfortable win for him. When Alex Neil started to take off players, you could see he had his mind on the game who they were going to play in the playoffs. Now that we know they got Hull City, so that's what you look forward to.
Indeed. Oxford already down then for Millwall. The playoffs away. It's finished at the Den. Millwall 2, Oxford 0.
Ollie, thank you very much. The celebrations, as you can imagine, are still continuing here. A real party atmosphere. After Ipswich, well, they only needed 1 season out of the Premier League. They are back, and back in the big time after their 3-0 win over QPR. They got off to a fast start here, going ahead in the 3rd minute, and then they doubled their lead before 10 minutes were played. They had to wait it out until late on to seal the deal with a 3-0 victory in the end. But they are so enjoying themselves out there right now. Let's reflect upon it all with Dean Ashton, who was part of our commentary team. Ian Danton, do you want to join us as well? I'm just checking. Of course I can. Just checking. You mentioned it before, actually, Dean, about questions were asked of this Ipswich team earlier on in the season because they did get off to an indifferent start. In fact, even Kieran McKenna's future was questioned. But my goodness, since basically 2026, they've gone on this fabulous run. They've always been in the reckoning. Again, questions were asked when they kept missing out on the opportunities to seal promotion earlier on when they had the games in hand. But a day like this is what it's all about. They've done it at the end of the day, and they've done it in pretty convincing fashion today.
Yeah, the hardest thing is getting over that line, isn't it? And you're right, it was strange. It was a strange atmosphere and performances earlier on in the season. Then all of a sudden, I think you settle after relegation. You genuinely have the players that you're now going to rely on. That experience starts to kick in. You add a little bit of quality as well in January for the manager, and they've never really looked back since then. Okay, it's been nervy the last month or so, but it doesn't matter. They've done it, and today was a great performance when you really needed it and the pressure was on. Straight away, that first 10 minutes, you've done your job straight away.
I noticed as well down there, because at the moment the Ipswich players and staff are gathered around their own dugout. There's they can't get out because there's a ring of security. The fans have been quite respectful. They're keeping their distance on the pitch, but I can see Kieran McKenna having a chat with Ashley Young, who we shouldn't forget is retiring from the game. He's been part of the squad and sort of coaching at Ipswich. He's currently having his photo taken with various players. And, Young's experience that he's brought to bear here, I'm sure, in educating some of the younger players here at Ipswich about what it takes to be a successful footballer. It's great stuff. So they're all milling around the Ipswich Town dugout. Big puff of the cheeks from Kieran McKenna as he walks back to the back of the dugout.
He's going through every kind of emotion you can imagine out there.
But what a great start. In 10 minutes they're 2-0 up, and the game was, I wouldn't say it was one there and then, but certainly QPR just did not know how to deal with Ipswich in that first 10 minutes. It was sensational high-tempo football, and there was no response to it whatsoever.
No, and I mean, you can see the relief from Kieran McKenna, but he'll have been so delighted with that start and the way his team handled the pressure. And I think they'll be able to enjoy this, especially the ones that have done this before. This is where you can really take it in, I think, this time, for those players and the staff. For Ipswich and the supporters as well, in just how respectful they have been so far with being on the pitch and allowing the players to get back into a position to celebrate with their teammates and staff.
Right in the middle of the pitch, you can't even see a blade of grass. There's that many fans who have made their way down onto this Portman Road pitch. And when you think back to the last time they were in the Premier League, obviously relegated last season, what will they have learnt from that to put things right coming up into next season?
Well, it's all about recruitment, isn't it? Because there's one thing we've learned from Sunderland's close season: it's how to recruit and be ready for a particular division with a particular set of players.
But they did recruit. They spent a lot of the time they did come up.
They did, but it's the right recruitment.
Yes.
I mean, recruitment's all the one thing. I think we're 11 years to the day that Bournemouth won promotion to the Premier League, when they won at Charlton and Watford lost, so they went up as champions. Now, Eddie Howe in that summer didn't make many changes at all. He actually gambled this Bournemouth team, by and large. He made a few adjustments, but not many, can keep us up, and he was proved right, and they ended up spending 5 years at the top flight. I think, largely speaking, those days are gone. You have to be ruthless, I think. And there's Wes Burns out of contract. What does Kieran McKenna do with somebody like Wes Burns? He's had misfiring strikers in recent weeks. Hurst scored today, but Aslan and Hurst have struggled. Incidentally, the Ipswich players are now making their way back down to the right towards the tunnel, and that means the supporters may well move away. But so Hurst and Aslan didn't really fire. Clark's been magnificent. Philoging's weighed in with lots of goals, particularly here. And you've just got to look at where are the areas that need the most surgery. And I'm afraid to say, for most promoted clubs, it requires surgery to be even slightly competitive.
I'll just interrupt you to bring you a goal in the Women's Champions League semi-finals. Arsenal playing Angelina Kelly.
It's Lyon 2, Arsenal 0. A corner from the left-hand side comes in towards the back post to an unmarked Kadiziatu Diani, who from an almost impossible angle somehow volleys it into the back of the net. That makes it Lyon 2, Arsenal 0, 3-2 on aggregate, which means that as things stand, Lyon are heading to the final and Arsenal are out.
Angelina, thank you very much. The players then, as Dance was just telling us, going back into the tunnel, the fans still in their thousands on this pitch, though slowly making their way off it, because I think they want to encourage more celebrations but that's not going to happen anytime soon with all of these fans out here on the pitch. We should quickly reflect upon what else has happened this afternoon and what has led to the conclusion of the regular championship season. We knew it was 3 fighting it out to get into that second automatic promotion spot. Millwall did what they had to do. They beat Oxford 2-0, but that wasn't enough after what Ipswich did here at Portman Road. And as for Middlesbrough, they too were relying on them getting the business done at Wrexham, but also results going their way. As it turned out, they finished up with a 2-2 draw. So they finished 5th in the table. Southampton sandwiched between Millwall and Middlesbrough in 4th. And all the drama of who was to finish 6th, because at one stage, Wrexham, Derby and Hull were all in that 6th position. But in the end, it was Hull that have secured it after a 2-1 win over Norwich. Ollie McBurney's brace sealing the victory for them, and they had to come behind to do it as well. But don't forget, Derby took an early lead against Sheffield United. It looked as though they were going to seal 6th, but Sheffield United came back in the second half and they beat them. So it is Wrexham and Derby who miss out on the playoffs. Hull finishing in 6th, which is their first victory in 7. Dance and Dean Ashton, I mean, that's quite remarkable. They had the worst run of form, really, of any teams battling it out to get into the playoffs. And when it truly mattered, they got the result they needed.
It doesn't matter, yeah. It's just, it happens at the end of the season when the pressure's on, and ultimately, over the course of the season, they ultimately deserve it, no matter how you do it. And look, the playoffs now is what we're obviously going to look forward to, and the drama that will bring.
So that throws up Millwall against Hull City,
right.
And the first leg will be the MKM.
That's on Friday night.
And Southampton against Middlesbrough. So the first leg will be at the Riverside, so the North East Coast gets first dibs when it comes to the playoffs.
Yes.
And I mean, some would probably say that's a rather weighted playoff semi-final campaign. Southampton and Middlesbrough, 2 relatively strong teams, and Millwall, who punched above their weight quite superbly all season, and Hull, who've laboured over the line. But this is the playoffs, and anything can and will happen in those playoffs. But it's testament to Alex Neil's hard work that he got Millwall to finish in 3rd, and he did say beforehand, look, there's nothing we can do. I think his realism might work in terms of making sure that Millwall don't lose focus going into this place. But boy, oh boy, are we in for a treat with those games to come.
Certainly will be. And then, of course, there's Leagues 1 and 2 playoffs to be decided as well. And you won't miss a thing with us, because we bring you every game when it matters when it comes to the playoffs as well. But here at Portman Road, where thousands of fans remain on the pitch, the party continues. They are back in the big time. On the way next, thank you very much, I should say, to Dance and to Dean Ashton, to everyone that's been a part of this championship last day of the regular season. On the way next, you've got Game Day Live coming away with Adrian Durham, and the team are going to keep you updated on all the 3 p.m. kickoffs. That's with 3 Premier League games, and also the conclusion of Leagues 1 and 2, with promotion and relegation stories still to be written.